What's up, everybody? It's your boy Jet7780 here with another What Grinds My Gears? Oh boy, what a day. What a day. And without further ado, I'm going to be playing this little, we're going to start with this. I'm going to be showing this a couple of times. But my goodness. I'm going to show you right now. Oh man, what a day. And here we go. I'm going to show this right now. I'm sure a lot of you have seen it already, but my goodness. Oh my God. Ha ha ha! Hardy har har!
I went ahead and ordered some for the table.
Oh man. And this guy here. This guy here. He's like crying and he says, "We did it." He choked on his fucking tongue or something like that.
Ha ha ha! Hardy har har!
Oh my God. Holy shit. Hey guys.
Don't get dramatic now, all right?
That response here. This is a Nintendo crowd, a Nintendo fan base celebrating a Microsoft IP. That Phil Ness was flowing, and he had Nintendo do Banjo and Super Smash Brothers. You know what he gave everybody at E3? He gave the rare replay some 4K enhancements for the Xbox One X. People when it's great. It's great. That's how fans should respond. That's what somebody who knows what their fans want. Whatever the age. That, and Callie says it, that is what Microsoft is missing. And that's the thing that people want when they go to FanFest, when they go Microsoft, to put it in perspective, Microsoft had a console presentation. That's how I respond to Bleeding Edge. Yeah, exactly. They had an on-stage presentation, and I think the biggest pop was for Keanu Reeves. Not games. And that's why I said last year was better with Halo. That got a big pop, but nothing like that. That is just rabid fan base. But just think, those people, right? Those people in that thing wanted Banjo. Yeah, they want the Banjo in Smash. Yes, they're in Smash. But think about if Microsoft made a brand new Banjo Kazooie and made it exclusive for their platform. You're telling me that room of rabid fans would not be more install base or more engagement to an Xbox or Microsoft platform if they used that IP to their advantage and made the people come to them? Because you know what? The biggest thing that people, I think, forget to realize is that Microsoft still wants people to engage with their products. Like, Microsoft isn't just giving up. Microsoft wants people to engage with their products. They're growing their install base. So a move of bringing a game on their console and having a fan base or a fan base come over to their console, it does help them. So Microsoft making a game and having them going over there, you know? And just look at that hype for Banjo. My God. And that was huge. Like, when I was watching it, I was like, oh my God, they did it. Like, that's crazy. What's up, Mary? How you doing, man? And it's just that they see that. You see that as an Xbox fan. You see that. Now, that's even more of a digs deeper, because that is Xbox putting its IP on a competing platform, collaboration, whatever the hell you want to call it, putting their IP on a competing platform and having that competing platform's install base go rabid. Meanwhile, you won't even deliver the game. See, if they were smart, they would have said, and here's a brand new Banjo-Kazooie game for the Xbox platform. I don't give a fuck. PC, whatever. Here's one for the platform. And also they're putting on there. But the fact that they didn't do anything with that IP at all, and the next time you see Banjo after years, like, what was the last Banjo game? Like, it was Nuts and Bolts, which really wasn't even supposed to be a Banjo game. They turned it into a Banjo game. That, they put that character on Smash Brothers. Boom. I'm pumped. That's awesome. I'm ecstatic. I think it's great. But I feel for, like, how Microsoft is just not delivering to their fans. Their fans want to see more Halo and Gears of War. That was the biggest criticism about their thing. We want to see more about them. We want to see more about Halo, more about Gears. And they're satisfied with it. They're like, no, we're just showing that in Halo, and that's an engine, and that's it. Next year, you'll see more. And here's Gears of War. We're just going to show this one mode. And this one mode has numbers coming out of the characters, the enemies. It's a more of an arcade escape room type game mode. And that's all they're featuring. And I said this yesterday. The problem that is that people tuning into E3, why does Microsoft treat E3, like, leading up to E3, they treat E3 like it's the biggest wait to E3. They don't do anything on Inside Xbox. I complain about Inside Xbox. I'm told Inside Xbox is not E3. Okay, fine. Then they hype up E3 because they're quiet. They save all their news for E3. And then when you come to E3, they don't blow the doors off the building. Instead, they show a bunch of mediocre Game Pass little games here and there, a bunch of cartoon games, and then a little snippet here or there of Halo and Gears of War. And they're happy. They're like, that's it. Oh, wait, the next E3 will show more. Oh, we got XO19 in London. Why do you keep trailing your fan base, like leading them astray? Nintendo announced today they got Zelda 2 coming out. People have been rumoring Fable since last year. Oh, Gregor Von Doom says they added numbers because streamers love that. It better translates to what's happening on screen. According to them, Microsoft's just hoping that it'll be on Twitch. That's a good point. I never even thought about the numbers doing that stuff. Like, but it makes you think, like, you're what? You're right. Gregor Von Doom, man. Now you're thinking like a Microsoft executive. How does this look on Mixer? Is this a Mixer game? Oh, put damage numbers so people could see all that damage they're doing. That's a good point, Gregor. But Nintendo announced a sequel to Zelda. Okay, a sequel to Zelda. Microsoft couldn't even tease Fable, and the way Nintendo announced it was they showed some clip from the original Zelda, and they just go, "A sequel is coming." Text. And people are like, oh, like, yo, that's great. Thank you very much. And while you tease me in Zelda, I'll play Astral Chain. I will play Mario Maker 2. I'll play Luigi's Mansion 3. And you add in more content to Super Smash Brothers. See the balance? There's brand new IP going on. Sony wasn't even there and got Final Fantasy VII exclusive pre-order in there. They were mentioning about PlayStation on March. Huge. Only on PlayStation. And then the new Avengers game from Square Enix. And that is getting a exclusive PlayStation 4 beta if you pre-order. And exclusive content for the game. You're right. And also, that was the biggest one that I loved on the Nintendo one. Panzer Dragoon. I remember when Microsoft had the exclusive to Panzer Dragoon with the OG Xbox that I played. Then they redid it with Crimson Dragon on the launch of the original of the Xbox One. And now Panzer Dragoon's going to the Switch. What's up, Mog? Like,
what do you mean I'm not an expert?
Something's up. I don't know what's going on, but I just watched 2 shows of Square Enix and Nintendo Direct. After watching that horror show of the Ubisoft the only thing Ubisoft conference had Watch Dogs I'm interested in. Watch Dogs, I did not like. 1, that was a bait and switch. Number 2, I liked better, but I did not stick with it. I thought that the whole hacking thing was a little contrived. Like, it really, you just spamming the L1 button and stuff like that. I didn't, and it really wasn't, like, it was just to unlock. It was almost like a switch. Like, it really didn't do anything. It was okay. And I wasn't interested in Watch Dogs this one until I saw the trailer. And I was like, oh crap, like that's freaking awesome. You actually use the backstories of people, because that whole game you're scanning people in Watch Dogs, and you would just see all this cool text like, oh, he broke up with his wife, or he's on the phone arguing with somebody, or he just got fired from his job. What's up, Wound Up Penguin? How you doing, man? He got fired from his job or something like that. And that'd be cool to read, like it'll be funny. But there's really nothing you could really do. Like you could hack their bank account or something like that. Now, that stuff kind of factors into their backstory mission and the way they play and things like that. Like it matters, like the type of person that is, and you control them, which I think is really cool. So like, I definitely think they'll intervene that backstory, and you do the backstory mission and then become part of your agency, and you can recruit who you want. I think it's really cool. It's something that's different, something interesting. And it's something different in the open world genre where you could kind of recruit anybody and be anybody. And from what they showed, it looks like there's enough to differentiate that you're really controlling these individual players, and they're not just character skins. They animate differently, like the granny. They animate differently, like the SWAT person, or different people animate differently. I'm just hoping, Because I think the one thing that could possibly break that game is if they're just like character classes or tropes. Like they kind of show that in the thing. Like they had a brawler, they had this. Like so, I'm hoping there's not just like 5 or 6 type of different character types, like brawler, old lady, ninja, retired assassin, some like 5 or 6 of them, that when you just recruit somebody, they're either one of those 7 classes or 6 classes. Like I hope it's more varied than that. That's the only thing that I'm hoping in that game, that that they do, that that there's something like that, that there's more of variation. It's not like, hey, which character you get, it's different skin, but they fall into one of the 7 types. I hope it's not like that. I hope it's more varied than that, but we'll see. But I'm interested in that. Sucks again. 2020. That was the biggest thing for E3, is everything's coming out in 2020. There's few games coming out this year and this holiday, but I do think November's pretty good. November's pretty stacked, and Gears comes out in September, so that's pretty good in September. And then we have November is just crazy, and then I think October is with Call of Duty. I think we got a thing for Call of Duty in October, but overall E3 was kind of, so far after all the conferences and Nintendo Direct and all that stuff, E3 was kind of just a little lackluster. Like everybody seemed to hold back a little bit. It seemed to be like a repeat, and it seems to me, and this is one of my biggest complaints about the whole E3 thing, is that people just continue to just bring out their old games and just add expansions or add features to them, and I just think you need to have balance. Like you can't do that with every single game you own. Like you can't just go up there and say, here's a whole bunch of updates to old games that we have. Like you gotta have new ones and old ones and stuff like that. But and I always think that that's more of not for a E3 stage. But it's getting like that. Like these stage shows, some of them are cringeworthy. Some of them are just like the Nintendo Direct was bam bam bam. I like the Nintendo Directs. You don't have to worry about like somebody messing up lines or rehearsals. They just show the games. They announce release dates, they show a control trailer, and they move on. And it's one thing after another. There's no like smoke and fire, pyrotechnics, and here, let me talk about this game for 20 minutes and then show you the game, like that PC showcase. Like, oh my God, I want to put my head through a wall with that thing. They had the person talk. He talked about 15 minutes, and he's like, the swamps are really bad, and people have gone fishing in these swamps, and there's a lot of sharks in the swamps, and then he talks like this for 15 minutes, like we really want to explore the environment and the free roaming of this, and then they show the trailer, and you're a shark eating people. I'm like, dude, we did not need a 15-minute introduction about your shark game. Echo the Shark.
Tell you the truth, this guy's starting to get on my nerves.
He was getting on my friggin' nerves, that guy.
I don't play this game.
Yeah, I don't play that game.
Who the hell are you talking to, son?
But I tell you, like, it was a little lackluster E3. It was Echo the Dolphin eating people, pretty much, right? Yes, and there's an area I was going to get into. Mario says that, he thinks Sony wasn't there in the first place because most of the stuff that was being saved for the PS5, while The Last of Us 2 and Ghost wouldn't show anything new besides massive upgrade to visuals. Yeah, I think Sony not going to E3 was kind of, I think it was, I wish they would have went there, because I think they could have. I think having the competition there and stuff like that maybe would have made other people stand up, like Microsoft, be like a little more or less complacent, because Microsoft did not swing for the fences here. They played it safe, and they did not help their fan base at all to give them confidence that they know where this ship is going. And at the same time, they're trying to sell them new services and new products without really bringing the gameplay, the games, the blockbuster hits, and really showing that they're still in it to make big games. They showed a little bit of games. And I don't know if Sony there and the pressure of Sony and maybe announcing a streaming expansion of PlayStation Now or something like that might have made Sony, we know, has the news. Like, it has these two big games that they can announce release dates to. Last of Us 2 will just blow up the internet of when that's released, and everything will just move away from that date because that thing's going to be God of War level sales. That thing's just going to blow up, The Last of Us 2. And it's going to be an industry darling. Like, and this is before, because remember, God of War, when it was announced, like, everyone's like, oh, it looks cool and stuff like that. But people were not ready for how amazing God of War was. Because it was just a God of War that looked differently. Like, people sort of questioned it. So God of War didn't have too much of that like crazy hype that like a Smash Brothers had leading into it, or Last of Us 2 will have leading into it. God of War was sort of like, oh, it's God of War, it looks different. Wow, it looks really cool. But when people got it and the reviews started coming out, people realized what a crazy, amazing game it was. And then the story and animations and just the way it looked, it blew up. And that's why it had so many legs. Like, it didn't really have that huge ramp up. Like, I think Last of Us 2, when it gets announced, the release date, that will be there. But I think Sony should have been there. The fact that they weren't there, I could see, I don't think it did them too much damage, though. Like, I think Microsoft should have really gave it to them. Like, I think Microsoft should have really, really showed the, like, and I listened to some Matt Booty interviews, Booty, and, saying, oh, we held back stuff and things like, dude, like, come on. What I mean is, this is E3, okay? There's nothing bigger than this, right? Right, Microsoft? This is nothing bigger than E3. This is the Super Bowl. You believe it's bigger than ever. Phil Spencer, it's bigger than ever. This is it. Like, if you don't share it now, what are you going to do? You're going to show more Halo gameplay in Inside Xbox? Like, no, Inside Xbox is not E3. You're going to show Halo Infinite on a YouTube channel? Like, you spent tons of money. You paid Keanu Reeves. You paid for a Lego car on stage. You paid for pyrotechnics that is so expensive that Vince McMahon doesn't allow it in the WWE anymore. It was a cost cutting. Matt held back the booty. Bootios! I just don't understand how, and this is the most frustrating thing, as a disgruntled Xbox fan who has seen the light. You tout E3 as this is where it is, and you don't share a lot of news. And I said this before, how Sony shared and built up the news. Nintendo builds up the news. Nintendo showed 2 Pokemon Directs leading up to Pokemon's release in November. And we know more about Pokemon than we know about Gears of War, which comes out in September.
Let Mortal Kombat begin!
That's what E3 is. This is the showdown. This is the biggest thing. You build up E3. You're tight-lipped the whole time through. And that's why everybody says wait to E3, because E3 is when it's supposed to happen. And then you go to E3 and you show a little stuff, and Booty interviewed, and they interviewed the Booty. And the Booty goes, I'm happy with what we shown. Like, we shown or not. Yeah, we got other stuff, but, and that's the thing that triggers people. Like, oh, Booty says there's more Booty coming. And there's more Booty's coming. And people are like, oh, he said there's more. They're making 3 and 4 games. These studios are making 3 and 4 games. And then people hold on to that when Booty says more Booty's coming until next E3. So every day on Twitter, every comment that you see, it's like, oh, well, they said more games are coming. This was just a little sneak preview. This is E3. That's where everybody needs to realize you need to hold Microsoft accountable for what they've shown. This is the biggest stage. Phil starts working on this in January. This wasn't a last-minute inside Xbox. This was calculated. This was rehearsed. This was demoed. They didn't even have demos. This is the... Just this way with Sarah Bond. Yeah, right? Yep. She had her presenting the whole time, right? But this is E3. And I don't understand how you come out of E3 and the interviews right after that, it's like, that was all right. Like, it was a little underwhelming E3. And then in the interviews, they're like, oh, well, we got more stuff. Like, we chose not to show it. And it's like, what? Then you should not have come. And my whole review type of what, and I already explained like how I felt about it, and I was really pissed because of this whole build up. And even like as a PC, I want to play this on PC. They showed me nothing that I'm interested in PC. Like PC Game Pass, I guess that's it. It's just another service that I got to subscribe to, but nothing that I want to play. And that's the biggest problem that Microsoft is having. When Nintendo showed their games in Nintendo Direct, when Square Enix showed some of their games, when Sony shows their games, you want to play it. What did Microsoft show there? Even Bleeding Edge. I thought they were going to go all out and do some esports thing, which at least would show some live demo gameplay of Bleeding Edge. But they didn't even demo it on stage. And know what's crazy, too, to think about it? When you look at Microsoft's E3, they are demoing those games at demo stations on the stage. They're next to them. You tell me that nobody could get an HDMI cable and shove it up into that huge monster screen and just fucking play the game right there? Like, the demo stations are there. This is the thing that boggles my mind. When they used to do in the Galen Center, that was a theater, and, they had to bring in the Xbox stuff. I can understand they had to set up for the demos. We got more demos back then. Since Microsoft has this Microsoft Theater, the demo stations are on the stage. Even inside the stage. This year from Rod Ferguson, inside the stage. Plug that shit up to the big screen and demo the friggin' game. Demo Bleeding Edge. And it's playable. I think people were playing it. Why won't you show it to people? And then on top of that, we're watching like snuff films of like people covering playing these games. Like I got like shaky cell phone hands saying like, oh, I played this today. It looks good. That's the coverage that you want for your game? Fucking snuff films? Like just like some weird like kind of underground like indie videos of like your game off camera? Show that game in the best light. Show that game. Like, I just don't understand why, like guerrilla video. That's what I meant. Like, more guerrilla videos. Like, that's what I'm like, oh, we're trying this out. This looks great. You show that game. You demo it. You make people want it. Just horrible. Bad way of selling your games. And now people are just like, oh, that trailer sucked on Bleeding Edge. I'm not interested in it. And Microsoft could come out and be like, well, with xCloud, it's in 5,000 places. And you could play it. And people will be like, I don't even want to play it on my Xbox. Why do I give a shit if it's on xCloud? And that's the problem they're going to run into. They got to show the content. They got to make those Nintendo fans went bonkers. Those people in the Nintendo Direct, those games. I was watching Square Enix. People want to play these games. And I'm just talking about presentation and how you sell your games. Microsoft just does a horrible job. What's up, Frogs? How you doing, man? Yeah, that was the other thing that came out. So, besides Banjo-Kazooie lighting up the world, man, that really blew it away. And I said it. I was like, Banjo-Kazooie, and I thought they were going to do a discless Xbox. Let's say it. But Banjo, going there, Microsoft announced at their Inside Xbox, because they have so much content that they can't fit in demos into their stage show. They got so much content, they have to have an Inside Xbox the next day. And on the Inside Xbox, they thanked everybody for backwards compatibility and stated that they will no longer be doing backwards compatibility for the Xbox One. No more Xbox OG games, which they only did 12 or something like that a year and a half ago, and they never did the other ones. They did some more now as a thank you. They did No more Xbox 360 games, and no more Xbox enhanced games of the 360s, of the 360s or the ones. No more for the X, because they said they're stopping and moving to Project Scarlet. You know, the one that everybody cares about now, right? You know, talk about Phil Ness. We don't even know what the hell the Scarlet is. And they're already just ceasing operations of backwards compatibility on the original Xbox, on the Xbox One family, to work and make sure that this stuff works on Scarlet. That's right, Glenza. The game sucks, but with xCloud, that's like saying that would food exactly. And that's my biggest thing is that it doesn't matter where you play. It matters if you want to play it. The desire to pull out your cell phone, stick that strap on to your controller, and play that game. But if when you get those games and you're constantly thinking about them and you want to go back and play them, and when you're not playing, you're thinking about them, those are the kind of games that they need to create, because those are the games that you will walk around with your controller and strap that thing to your phone. Stick that strap on, baby. That's what I call the piece that's hooked up to the controller. It's the strap on. Until Microsoft gives it an official name, Grinds My Gears calls it the strap on. The strap on for the controller that goes to your cell phone. So that you could walk around and probably get kicked in the ass for looking like a goofball playing a game like that in public. Because if I saw somebody with a full-blown controller in public with the strap on with the phone, that's ridiculous. Especially when the controller is like $70. I don't know where you're putting that. So, and this 2 billion stuff, and I'll get into that shit. I'm going to get into it. Like the video, guys. Share it out. Let's get some people in here. Thank you to the 22 watching. We're going to talk some more. Yeah, I agree, Brian V. Yeah, like again, it's not that I just can't understand, like, as somebody who really, like, I loved Xbox. That's all I had. That people don't feel, a lot of you guys do, my grinders out there, just feel the frustration and wanting them to just kind of scrap the whole thing and get back to what's important, because that's when I had the most fun. Because I don't feel like I'm missing anything, and that's bad. I should feel regret. I should feel, everybody's having a good time on Xbox. I should go play my Xbox. But I don't have that regret. I could interact and communicate from anywhere with them. Thank you, guys. Like, thanks, Phil. And that's fine. But, like, where's the game that brings everybody back? Like, I remember when we used to just, I used to buy every single game that comes out. I buy every single game that comes out. I play everything. That's why my gamer score was so high. And I still do. But now I buy a lot of stuff, either the PC or PlayStation, because I get everything that I want. I'm more of like, I want to be tied to one ecosystem. I want it all in one. That's how I am. I don't like triple dipping, and this is just me. I don't like triple dipping and quadruple dipping and paying for multiple services of things that I'm not going to use. And when Microsoft started giving me their stuff in other places, that I was able to explore other platforms. When I got that, I have my Switch and I got a PlayStation, I was able to do VR because Microsoft lied about VR. They lied. I was able to get VR, which I had on my computer, but I wanted something more comfortable. That Vive was hurting my face and stuff like that. I got VR. I got amazing exclusives. And I got games that looked a lot better than my Xbox One S. That's right. Phil thought of everything. He got me covered. So Phil cut the ties with me having to be there, and I was able to explore other options. And when I explored other options, I liked it. It was like going on vacation. You're constantly going to Disney, and it's like, well, Disney got you by the balls. They got you by the balls. Like, Disney is it. And then all of a sudden, you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to go to this place. And then I'm like, you know what? I don't have to go to Disney anymore. I don't have to go. And I like my place over here. And that's kind of the way I approached it. And I just want them to scrap this whole thing and show the fight that they had. And I feel like this is just conceding. And exactly what Frog said, hashtag asks for better. Because it's not even where the games go. I don't even care about that shit anymore. You want to put them on PC, go put them on console, put them on, you know what? That ship has sailed. That Sea of Thieves ship has sailed. I'm talking about the stuff that's coming out of them. The last 3 years of games has been utter shit.
Cool. This coffee smells like shit.
It is shit, Austin.
Oh, good, then it's not just me. It's a bit nutty.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
You bastards! You vicious, heartless bastards!
It's been utter shit. It's been bad. And then we wait to E3 to think like, yo, we're just in a rut, right? Microsoft's just in a rut. And then they show more.
Cool. This coffee smells like shit.
Yeah. And then they have this conference. And they were the only show in town. And they tripped over themselves. Nintendo shows a 45-minute video and says tons of games. Somebody told me that's because Nintendo doesn't have to have a new generation next gen. I was like, oh, but Microsoft is making Halo Infinite, which is completely, you want to hear something, how can, and you could tell, and this guy is going to be, this is going to be the slow migration, and Microsoft's going to see it. They're consistently just slicing away at the people that are still believing. They're slicing away, and it's going to take more than other people. Their thresholds are lower and higher and stuff like that. It's going to take more and more people to realize that they're investing in something that is a dead weight. Because they're investing in something just because of entrapment. Maybe they have a library that they cannot release. They're locked in for 2 years of service like your cable company, and it's just by entrapment and guilty by association. But when they realize what they're really paying for, like cord cutters, people that pay for cable, like, what the hell am I paying for? I'm not having new experiences on this console. Why do I keep buying new consoles? People are going to slowly realize that Microsoft is not catering to the core audience. Those rabid fans that are screaming at Nintendo, do you want to go? Do you know what we should have done? I should have went down to the Microsoft store and videotaped the Microsoft store during the Xbox briefing. What do you think the Microsoft store was like? Do you think there was a crowd like that at the Microsoft store? And if they were, I don't think they were screaming like that. And I'm not saying show me 15, 20 minutes of Halo Infinite. But my God, you showed a longer trailer last year, and that wasn't even gameplay. Now this one is gameplay. I don't get it. Microsoft heard us. Yeah, they heard us. They hear you, but they're not listening because they got their own agenda, guys. They got their own agenda. And your agenda, you see it. And you know what's interesting? I was listening to a Matt Booty interview, those Bootios, and he was saying, like, these things take time. Like, these deals take, like, Minecraft Dungeons shows up now, but that's been going. What's up, Darkside? How you doing, man? That's been taking years. So this Banjo-Kazooie, this didn't happen today. Microsoft's been dealing with this. They've given the this has been going on, and they gave it to Nintendo. Oh, game night, I got a good clip for you. You know, my beautiful soundboard right here. Oh man, I'm gonna play it when we get to that, and you're gonna use your line right there. Oh, I got a good one that I found from our good old boy Phil. But this is E3. And it wasn't a great E3. It was all right. Nintendo really, did what they had to do. Square Enix, which is third party, but they had some exclusives there. Some games coming to the Xbox. Not exclusives. But they had some stuff. But you know what happens during E3. And what is the thing that I always say? What I always say that Microsoft needs to do. Right? What do they need to do, guys? They need to shut up. Because whenever they get a microphone in front of them, they start saying scary and stupid shit. And because they don't have the games or the hype behind their games to justify them saying this stuff, the stupid shit flows to the top. Yeah, take Twitter away from them. Exactly. Take Twitter away from them. Get the microphones out of their mouth because, my God, I was pissed enough about that inside that Xbox thing, and then the Inside Xbox after that. And then I did a video today explaining how they use that Phil Ness to talk about xCloud and remote play, and basically they're doing exactly what PlayStation does, but they're talking about it as it's a part of the cloud. We'll make your console a cloud. We'll make your console a cloud, they go. They go, well, you know what? But that's not exactly what you're talking about. Your blades are the cloud. They're like, oh, your console will be the cloud for free. We'll make it for free. Like, motherfucker, I bought the console. I'm using my own internet, and it's streaming to my phone from my upload speeds. It's not touching your data centers. That's not the cloud. That's remote play. So don't talk about cloud and remote play. They confuse the shit out of everybody, and I'm telling you, for the next year, until October, people are going to say xCloud's free. And what I got to say to them is...
Huge cloud of shit. Wow. God, I think I smell it. Come on, let's go.
I watched the Engadget coverage of xCloud, right? They said it works great there. You want to know why it works great there? It's not even a Wi-Fi or mobile. It is a closed friggin' internet. So, really, a cut of shit, exactly. It's just so frustrating that they put those two things together. And, unfortunately, they are confusing people. I feel bad, Smooth. Let him I'm not going to cheer him up. What I have to say doesn't cheer him up. And he thinks I like this. Dude, this is horrible. Microsoft tripped over themselves. But now what I was trying to get into is now they got the mic in front of them. And what happens when they got the microphone in front of them, everybody? They say dumb things. And we got some wonderful quotes here. And I'm gonna go to my thing right here. And I saw a lot of things today where Booties was talking about Game Pass. And you know what I recall? You know what I recall, guys? I recall when Game Pass was an option. Remember when Game Pass was an option?
My ass hurts just watching this.
Remember when that was just an option? Game Pass was just an option. You still could buy your games. It's just another way to experience the games. Like, it's just an option. Well, Microsoft has taken that option and they're running with it. Oh, wow. Good. I'm disappointed. Sign that contract, baby. Nah. They are. Yeah. It's disappointing. It's horrible. And it is a kick in the balls. It is a kick in the balls. And you want to know, on top of all that, not showing. Oh, you know what? This is the thing with Game Pass. Well, the thing of Game Pass is that it's the second coming. Do you know the Game Pass? People talking about it like this is a great deal. They are basically going, and what Booty was basically saying is that they're going for having not AAA games, excuse me, but having Xbox Game Studios games every 2 to 3 months. And he said it for the last year. I went back and looked at some of his interviews and stuff like that, and I could show it on here. Basically, right here, like why they bought Ninja Theory. Like this is the one from last year about why they bought them, and it says it right here. Microsoft explains why mid-sized studios are important to its Game Pass subscription service. There you go. And this year we saw these little games for their Game Pass subscription. We got 14 games coming into Game Pass. And it says it right here. This is the quote that everybody doesn't seem to like. We have a criteria of 50 to 100 people who are making games on 2 to 3 year cadence, and have content that we will be interested for Game Pass subscribers. They are going for quantity over quality. They are in complete opposite of what Sony and Nintendo are doing. They are putting together quality games that people want to play to sell their hardware. Microsoft is trying to sell a service with trash or very small games. Maybe there's some gems in there, but they want a variety of content. And you know what I do? I use their own words against them because as an Xbox fan, I was reading this shit too. And you want to go back. This people want to forget this shit. Like this was like didn't happen. We're talking about Booty. Listening is the key for us. You want to know when he was listening? Where is he? Oh wait, he was listening. Tell me what year he was listening, everybody.
I don't think so, sucker.
It's time to quit jammering before I start hammering. It's time to quit jammering before I start hammering.
I don't think so, sucker.
2014 they were listening to us. But guess what they're listening to us for? What? What, Booty? Excuse me? We are committed to Connect. We think that Connect is what makes Xbox One experience the premium experience. It's the core that unlocks some of the magic in Xbox One. So everything from biometric sign-in to voice control to things like being able to do Skype and Twitch, the Connect is really the key ingredient in our premium experience for Xbox One. We're still going to see games built on Connect. Oh, look, Cuphead was there too. Here he goes again. Does that make it harder to get third-party developers to include Connect functionality? Our first priority is, how do we get the biggest audience possible? Look at that. How do we get the biggest Xbox One audience possible for our developers? How do we make Xbox One available to as many fans as possible? Well, we know what that turned into. It's no longer the Xbox One audience. It's the Windows audience or the Windows gaming audience. And see, Rare Connect Sports, they were going for the bigger audience since day one, as everybody should. But the thing that they tried to do it with was what? Connect Sports, TV. This Booty. I think Crackdown's going to be really big. They were talking about this shit in 2014. And then hear about their other studios. Things like Press Play. They got rid of them. Twisted Pixel. Gone. On one hand, we have some really big internal studios with hundreds of people working on big AAA franchises. Then we have got working on things like Twixel. Look at this. On one hand, we have... Look at this. Talk about role reversal, right? We have big internal studios with hundreds of people working on big AAA franchises, and then we also got things like Press Play and Twisted Pixel. That's to have a little more of an indie culture where we're allowed to be more free roam to go in. Exactly. But now they're all this now. They got Gears and Halo, but now they basically got this. This is a 2014. So I was reading this 2014 going, oh man, I believe this guy. Like, I believe this. You know? He was the Redmond Game Studios platforms and studios. He was one of the men responsible for making sure the Xbox One had killer content to tempt consumers. That's what Matt Booty's job was in 2014, guys. It wasn't Shannon Loftus. It was Matt Booty. He was the GM of Redmond Game Studios and platforms. This is from GameIndustry.biz. This is not some bullshit fan place. Matt Booty was in charge of giving us killer content to tempt consumers in 2014. Now, here's Booty's interview, and he's talking about Game Pass. And Phil Spencer on The Verge. In terms of how these studios help us, we think have a great flow of games coming to Game Pass are really important. We think having first-party teams building games to make that service continue to grow is an important part of our future. So this is the fear that I had with Game Pass in 2017, and people said, Jez, they said, no, Grinds, you're wrong. Why are you so concerned about this Game Pass? Why are you so concerned about the Game Pass? Because I did not want them to do this sentence. I did not want them to do this.
No deal. No deal.
This is Judgment Day.
Judgment Day. The end of the world. It's today, 3 hours from now.
2 hours and 53 minutes.
Take it back! Take it back!
Take it
back.
back.
Son of a bitch.
Oh, man, all my Arnold's coming out.
You son of a
Take
bitch.
it back!
Take it back. Having first-party teams building games to make the service grow. No! Having first-party teams making amazing games that will attract people to our service. Right? Not about the quantity, about the quality. Right? And look, this is the bullshit that they pull out. And know what the issue is that Microsoft is owning this first-party shit because they're the only show in town that's really only place putting their games day one in Game Pass. And now with Ubisoft's Pass, EA's Pass, nobody's going to put their big blockbuster third-party games. Third-party is not going to carry Xbox Game Pass. The only people that carry Xbox Game Pass is Xbox. That's why they're buying all these first-party studios, because they're the only person that could sustain their service. They can't rely on Red Dead and Assassin's Creeds and Call of Duties and Battle. They can't rely on third-party. They could put a bunch of indie games in there or games that have not done well or are done with their sales cycle and put those games in there as some fluff. But the big draw is new games day one. And the only new games day one they're going to bring are indies and their games. And indies are nice that round out, but their games are the games that are going to drive this service. And they know that. That's why they're buying all these first-party studios. But the games that they're making are fast and furious and small. And we'll see. But we'll think like Outer Wilds and all Outer Worlds and stuff like that, those games are already in development. But when you see Ninja Theory's games, and when people say, well, Ninja Theory is making 2 and 3 games, yeah. They're only 100 people. 20 to 30 people made Bleeding Edge. All right? Expect more of that level of game. AA to kind of like, think about Xbox Game Pass as what Xbox Live Arcade was with the 360.
No deal.
And that's everything that's coming from them. And they'll keep with Halo and Gears because those games have legs. But they're not going to invest in a new blockbuster IP brand new. No. Like a game like Rise, even you could say that wasn't even well received, but still a game like Rise, Microsoft, I don't believe, is going to invest in it. If they do, I'll be very surprised. As long as these games are going into Game Pass. But this is the messaging that they got. This is E3. Here's Phil Spencer E3. This article is crazy. You know, and here's that whole thing about the streaming. So streaming is free, but xCloud is a subscription. And he's like, we haven't talked about the business model. But, and this is bullshit right here. I do think the idea of Game Pass and xCloud-like subscription makes a ton of... Oh, fuck Phil. Come on, Phil Ness. Come on now.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't got time for that.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
That thing right there, that's obvious. It's happening.
He is barely my assholes.
You know? And then the other thing he says on here, and then trying to, I'm glad that the person talked about the Xbox One X, going like, yo, what happened to that thing, right? What happened to the X, most powerful console in the world? Now it's like old news. A year and a half later. A year almost, yeah, it's coming up on, what, a year and a half? Yeah, a year and a half. This November will be 2 years the X came out, and it's old news. And this is it. This is him. His finesse. As long as you're playing, I'm happy. There he is. And what is the title of this article? Says the company who's selling third place. Right? The business isn't how many consoles you sell. Says the console manufacturer that is going to start trying to sell you another console. Like, is that acceptable? Like, this guy's trying to sell you another $500, $600 console, and he comes out with a quote like that. I don't care where you play. The business is not how many consoles you sell. So do you think it's a smart move for you guys to go spend $500, $600 on the most premium console that you know he's not developing, like he's not making games with you in mind? And you can see from this E3, and I think we're going to see even more of these kind of games. And that's exactly Game Night. With that mentality, just stop making consoles. Just stop. Like, it makes no sense. Like, I think if Sony said that, Nintendo said that, people would be like, I'm not buying your shit. Like, that's it, dude. Like, it's over. Like, I'm not buying your shit anymore. Like, why would I buy your stuff? That's right. The day the Xbox died and the ash came from the team. Exactly. Like, how? And this is the contradiction. This is the contradiction. And then on top of that, saying bullshit like that at E3 after trying to sell. And I said, is that quote going to be on the Scarlet console? Like, I don't care if you buy this or not. Like, put that on the box and tell me how much you sell. This thing's dead before it comes out. Next gen is over. And that's why, shout out to Game Night, I got a special clip for him. Right? Phil Spencer, the day after that E3 press conference 2019, got on Inside Xbox and had this wonderful quote. And I'll play it a couple of times for you. Are you guys ready? Hit that like button. Share out this video. We might go a little longer. But here it goes.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
What was that again, Phil?
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
What? You want to get as many people playing on a phone? That's your focus? Do you really think there are that many people that want to play your games on their cell phone? Is that the missing link? Is that it? Is that because I don't care about the console, but you say I don't care about the console,
We're
but
really
with
focusing
xCloud,
first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So
with focusing first what it means to play these games on your phone, and his primary focus is to get as many people playing these games on their phone.
we're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible,
It's not something you want to do all the time. Exactly. It's a nice option, but does
we're
this
really
sound like an
focusing
option?
first on what it means to play these games on your phone.
This is a huge corporation saying what we wanted to do first is to make sure that we get as many people playing on their phone. That don't sound like an option to me.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible,
talking about xCloud. That's their primary focus. You see how they're embedded with xCloud, embedded with subscription passes, and they're trying to do subscription model Game Pass to PC. He wants to get people on the phone, not try to sell more consoles where the people who play these games should live. So when you hear that phrase from Phil and you see the kind of games that they had on that stage and what they showed, it fits. They showed games that looked like they could run natively on their phone. But
we're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible,
they want to do streaming. So they say the cloud, xCloud, to give that console-like experience on the phone. That's why he's even hyping up remote play. Because that will get you gaming on your phone. See, let me explain something here, everybody. That is what I call the extra Philness. And what do you mean by extra Philness? What Phil Spencer wants us to do, right? It's right. Phil is on xCloud 9. What Phil wants you to do is get used to playing, because he knows the hardcore are going to lead this. Like, Johnny on his cell phone is not just going to boot up Xbox app and go buy a $70 controller, which, again, it kind of contemplates things where you get people with cell phones, they're going to go out and just go buy an Xbox controller. Like, oh yeah, $70. Like, they won't pay $2 to pay a game, but they're going to subscribe to the service and they're going to go buy a $70 phone. Like, isn't the $70 controller a point of entry too? I don't, nobody seems to bring that up. Like, these casuals that, just want their games to come to them and don't want to buy a console, they're going to go out and buy an accessory for a console that they don't want to play these games on their phone. Okay, that makes sense, right? But what Phil wants to do, and the reason why they're doing this remote play, is because he wants you to take your console at home and get used to playing it on the road with the phone. So then when Phil could come in and pull a switcheroonie and then say, well, guess what, guys? You like that? Well, now you're going to subscribe to xCloud and play xCloud. And look at that. Players United Gaming. That's the answer 83. Final Fantasy Remake, Cyberpunk, Avengers, Dragon Quest Builders 2, Dragon Ball Z. It's about the games. Those games that you ordered. Those games, if they're playable elsewhere, and you could dive into Final Fantasy VII when you're not at home and you can't be at home and stuff like that. It's all about the games. It's not about how you play it. It's about if you want to play it. It's not about if you could play it on the phone. It's do you want to play this game so bad that you will play it on a phone. That's where Phil is not listening to gamers. He's just seeing the numbers and thinking that, oh, if we just get our games on phones, that's going to be the answer. That Final Fantasy VII looked friggin' incredible. And Sony getting that game in March, that's a huge get for Sony, who wasn't even there. And they showed that game. Like, I can't believe it. That game looks incredible, Final Fantasy VII. Holy shit. That brought back so many memories. I can't believe how much they changed in it. And it just reminded me, the music, the characters, the boss battle. I remember doing that boss battle. It was crazy. but they want you to play on this phone.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone.
So he wants you to stream it to your phone, and he wants you to then slide in xCloud. So you're paying for that subscription. Oh, I like playing on the go on my cell phone. This is cool. And then Phil's like, well, you really like it? It's like getting a hit. You really like it? Well, guess what? It's even better if you use our xCloud service rather than remote play. You want some? You got a little taste of playing that thing on taking a shit in a public bathroom? Guess what? You like it so much? We're gonna slip in some xCloud now, and now you're gonna pay a subscription so you get to play it on your phone. That's what they think. And the thing is that for the Vita, I got a Vita for remote play. But you want to know what? I wound up using it to play the native games on there. Because remote play was an option of the Vita. It's neat. It's good to try. But I'm not sitting there playing hours upon hours on it. It drops. It's not as reliable. And I know Sony's going to do something like it. But the thing is that Sony is not cannibalizing, from what we know now, Sony is not cannibalizing its games for these services. Sony is not making God of War episodic. Sony is not making rinky-dink games coming out of Naughty Dog and stuff like that just to satisfy PlayStation Now. They're not telling Guerrilla Studios, yo, make some arcade shooter that's 4v4. It comes out in 2 months, and it's for PlayStation Now. Those memory cards are ridiculous. That's what killed the Vita. Those friggin' stupid memory cards are expensive as hell. Never dropped in price, even to this day. To this day, those Vita memory cards are not cheap. It's like a sweatshop trying to get those things out of GameStop. The guy has it in a gold case. He's like, you want the 32 gigabyte one? It's like $80. He pulls out a gold case. Exactly. Sony did a lot of this already. And I will critique Sony if they come out with the PlayStation 5 and do a Microsoft and just go, instead of TV, they're like, phones, cell phones. Our games are on cell phones. And they start showing a bunch of bullshit. Then we're in trouble, guys. Then we are in trouble. I'll tell you that right now. If Sony reveals this PlayStation 5 and they talk about how we're all going to be playing on phones while trying to sell a next piece of gen of hardware, we are in deep doo-doo. But the thing is that the things that Sony's doing, investing in VR and giving us more VR games, and the games that they're giving us, and them saying we're never going to get rid of single-player narrative games, those types of games are not sustainable in a service. Like, if you have The Last of Us, Ghost of Tsushima, Death Stranding, those games are not service games. So the type of games that Sony seems to be making are, yeah, it is deep shit, are not service games. That's right. And I recommend Dark Side Havoc. If it goes that way, go get yourself a Pandora's box, 6.0. It's a double-edged arcade controller. You plug in your TV. You got 2,000 games in retro out the wazoo. And buy a bunch of mini consoles. And that's it. But that Pandora's box, holy crap. You get 2,000 games on it. Amazon has them. They're like $180, $200. You get thousands of games on them. Awesome. And it's a great arcade controller. You could use it on your PC too. I have it on my earlier videos. I reviewed one of them. Actually, I have it on. I streamed on one of my videos. But you should check it out if you want retro stuff. But if Sony starts talking phones, because Sony did do that when the PlayStation 4 came out, they did show like the games going. Like I remember the blue video, and it was like, oh, they're on their phone, they're on this, they're on that. Yo, Mog, I gotta get around to it. I should have watched. I keep forgetting. I gotta watch these videos. I'll watch it. I'll get so angry because I'll be like, look at these great studios, but the type of games that they make right now are really not something for PlayStation Now subscription. And if Sony really is going to go on PlayStation Now, I think what they're doing is they're going to save a lot of like God of War and PlayStation Now and stuff like that. We'll see. But right now, I can tell you right now how I feel is that Sony is not cannibalizing what it is to be a console. And I don't think they will, because Sony is a different structure than Microsoft. Phil Spencer could say that kind of bullshit. I don't care if we sell consoles. Sony can't say that. Nintendo can't say that. Like, Nintendo, after that Wii U did not sell, like, they had to come back big. Otherwise, they would have been in trouble. They could have been in some trouble, like, if they had a bunch of generations of just bad consoles. Because they need to sell the hardware. And Sony knows that. Because Sony, like, don't you... And this is the thing that I don't get. It's like, when you hear about Microsoft, people are like, oh, more people to play Halo. Oh, Halo it shouldn't be just on the console. It should be on PC. Everybody should be playing Halo. Like, why do I hear that only from Microsoft? But you don't think Nintendo, like, I don't hear Nintendo guys going, oh man, Super Smash Brothers, that should be on PC and on Xbox. Like, we should be playing with everybody. You know, more people will buy Smash Brothers if we put them on other platforms. Like, we should all play. You don't think Sony sits there and goes, you know, God of War, like, you know, we sold God of War. We're selling it this week for $20. Like, shit, let's just put God of War on PC. You know, more people to play it. Nobody else is thinking like that. The only one that's thinking like that is the one that's doing the worst in sale. Like, the one that just cannot get a break. And I allude Microsoft's pursuit as the Matrix. Like, they have just keep failing. And we're like on the 7th Neo right now. Like, this is the 7th Neo. Like, they're just like, you know what? We did not sell these games on console. We tried putting this shit in. Yeah, right? God of War on PC. Yeah, I know, right? There's a demand for it. But why is Sony not doing it? Instead, they're pricing God of War $20. Because they know they'd rather use God of War to sell more units of it and to probably sell more services and to sell more hardware than to put it on PC. And what is that? Anti-consumer? No, it's called selling your product. That's what it's called. Because what Microsoft is doing is not like Microsoft's trying to be Google because they failed at being a closed system. And they're trying to be Google, but guess what? You can't be Google because you're late to the party. Just like you couldn't win Windows Phone because Google and you let Google and Apple get too big. You let Google and Amazon get too big. You can't be open anymore, Microsoft. Like, nobody's going to be putting your operating system on a fucking tablet or on a voice device like a assistant or on a refrigerator. You know, you had that stuff. You had a bad rap at it. People try to use Windows Mobile and all that other stuff. Oh, I'm telling you, that's the thing. Sony could just do deals. Sony's sitting on so much news right now, like, they could just drop it. They could just say, God of War DLC, September. Gears, good luck. And that's the thing. Like, Gears of War and stuff like that, like, you look, and it just is not, it's not different enough. And what Phil is showing, it's like, they're showing, they want variety in a bunch of indie games. But you got to show risks. You got to show quality games. Like, I'd rather them take that 2 hours at that E3 and really break down Gears of War and show why we should be excited about it. Maybe some new executions. Don't show the whole game. You don't have to play the first mission. But I'm expecting Gears of War 5. Gears 5 is such a huge game that if you show 5-10 minutes of it, the game is not ruined. But when you show a little snippet, people start going like, well, is this game... Like, I heard going into E3, Gears 5 is so ambitious. It's the most ambitious title ever. And they basically showed us a horde mode escape room. Oh, that's just one mode. Tune in 2 months from now for the next mode. Like, really? You couldn't show more of that game? You know? You couldn't show more of that game? But it's just not... It's just not sustainable when you're on the biggest E3 stage. People have been waiting for E3, and you're like, well, we're just going to give you a little sneak peek. No, you give the little sneak peek at Inside Xbox. You don't give an insight. You don't get a sneak peek at E3, the grandest stage of them all, right? But this whole pursuit for cell phone stuff, it's neat. It's an option. But he sounds like he's
We're
ready
really
to go.
focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone.
Yeah, right. They took the gameplay demos with them.
I'm trying to use the phone!
That's gonna be all us and Phil Spencer's vision.
I'm trying to use the phone!
That's it. Everybody using the home. You know what? They just continue to just say silly things and just Pee Wee Spencer. And we're gonna come back. What the hell is that squeaking? My freaking microphone? I'll fix my microphone here. Come back and just watch this again.
Debated!
One thing I do have to say though is Nintendo again. They knew their fans. If you watch this reveal trailer, they joke and make it look like Banjo, and then they make it like this guy's trolling them. The dog from Duck. Like, oh, that was Banjo. What the surprise? We did it. Let's go! Let's go! He did it. What did they do? I don't know. Did they waited? This guy. Shout out to whoever this guy is. I was laughing at it all freaking day. This guy, he's just like, we did it. He like choked on his tongue. He's like, we did it. I don't know what they did, but they did something. Let's go. Let's go. You hear these people? You hear these? I don't know. You know what? And I don't know. I don't know, man. I was like, woo! I was like happy, but my God, that guy was like, I love when fucking people go, like, we did it. I'm like, what the fuck? What did you do? Did they do it? Did you like? I don't know what they did, but he's like, "We did it! We did it!" Oh my God! Oh my God! I just guys, that's E3. That's what E3 is. That's what people like to think is E3. He shit his pants. Oh. That's right. Final Fantasy VII wasn't on stage because it's a Sony thing. Like, Sony would have shown, I'm telling you, if Sony was there, like, think about it. If Sony would have went, right? Sony would have went to E3 and they showed that they opened up with that Final Fantasy VII trailer. Or the gameplay of it. I bet you people would be like that. Like, not as crazy, but they opened up that. That would have been an amazing conference if they just showed, and Square Enix showed a little bit, and Sony got that whole, like, demo of the battle system. They showed that. They showed another part of Last of Us. They showed a bunch of, they'll show some couple of, they could show the Iron Man demo. Maybe they want demoing on stage. They showed another level of The Last of Us. Maybe tease Joel again, or maybe another character. I don't know. And then show more gameplay of Ghost of Tsushima, or show like a mission, or show another thing. Like, and then maybe show God of War DLC. And maybe show maybe a logo at the end of like Horizon 2. Damn, I would have been like, holy crap, that would have been an incredible show. That would have been an incredible show. You had your one multiplayer, well, it's an exclusive, so it does make sense for them to show Final Fantasy VII. But like, just think of those few games, like that would have been a great show. It would have been big blockbuster games. Like, people don't go and line up and get into a 300-person theater to watch indie reels. That's just like the sprinkles on top of ice cream. They go to that big stage on that big screen to see a big trailer that's going to blow them away for Gears of War, for God of War, for Halo, your big hitters. The reason why people even have a fan base, they don't have a fan base because of like these little, that Bambi game. People are not coming there to watch you play Bambi in the city. You know? They're there to see Gears of War, Gears 5, and it's freaking blowing up the screen. They just don't understand. You basically gave us an inside Xbox in a huge auditorium. That's what that was. It really would have been inside Xbox if you just took Gears and Halo out of it. It would have been an inside Xbox. I'm just saying if there was DLC, like if they did DLC, like they did, like that would have been huge. Gears of War, I know, like that. You're there, you lined up those people. You have people fly from all over the country for and wearing Xbox shirts in the crowd, and you don't show it. And people are like, oh well, they'll show more Gears of War later, hands on, at Inside X. No, you show it on the stage. Like, is that game the game? I don't expect to be that shallow that you're gonna ruin it if you show more about it. Like, I don't think it's gonna be that way. You know? It is spooky. You know what, Mog? You know what's interesting? What was the other game that they didn't show? And they're like, oh, we're focusing on the single player of it. We're not showing the multiplayer yet. It was Crackdown 3. Gears of War should have had 3 major. Like, I don't understand Microsoft focusing on one portion of a game at E3. It is E3. You show everything that game has to offer. And I'm not saying spoil anything, but I'm saying you show a little bit of a campaign, you show a little bit of multiplayer, and you show a little bit of Horde. Or with Escape, whatever the hell you want to do. But you don't take that entire conference at E3 and just make it about a game mode to your biggest franchises. And it's not like they had Halo any playable or anything like that. No. Gears is coming out in 3 months. It's coming out 3 months. It's not even coming out next year. It's 3 months. This is E3. You don't go on stage at E3 and tell everybody who flew to E3, guys, we're going to show multiplayer at Gamescom in Germany. What? What? You have the world fly to E3, the biggest stage of them all, and the next day at Inside Xbox, Phil Spencer sits there and says, XO19 in London. You're at E3! You're at E3! You're at E3. What the fuck are you teasing other events for? This is it. The Super Bowl. Right? It was the Super Bowl on Saturday, on Friday, in May, in April, in February. It was the Super Bowl of gaming. This is E3. It's not irrelevant. Well, when you go on stage at E3 and tell people we're going to show multiplayer at Gamescom, and when the next day the boss goes, I want to tell you about XO18 in London, you're sitting on E3 stage. This is the show. This is it.
What's with kids today, huh? No respect.
And on top of that, the mediocre show that you put on. Yeah, even if you don't remember Benny Hill, just to know that it was it's a goofy ass song, and it was a comedy and goofy ass shit. It's like a Clowns. It was better than Clowns, but that's what it's alluding to, that they are a bunch of clowns. They don't know their gamers. I don't know why they think these people are going to stay loyal to them as they continue to shit on them. Talk about...
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible, we're really focusing...
Are people wearing phone shirts? Are they like, I want to play on my phone? All those fans there came together because of the console. They came there because of Xbox Live. They became fans and achievements through your Xbox ecosystem. So you go fly them all there. They all fly there. So you could say your primary focus is to put things on phones, on clouds, and talk about other events that are other cross side of the country. When they thought that this was the mecca of games where you were going to deliver. Last year, you bought yourself a lifeline by getting studios. This is the year that you start showing those studios and you start showing what they make. You sell us on those games. Even if it looks like a fucking AA title, you make it the best AA title that you made. What's up, Bows? Phil Spencer got us doing this.
I'm trying to use the phone!
Oh, yeah, Jemiah, let's go. We're back. We're back. I'm back. I read all the bullshit. I have to get back on here. But this is the mecca. This is E3. People say E3's not relevant. Sony should have been there. And Microsoft goes to E3 and takes a huge dump on the stage. A smoking dump with pyrotechnics. And then tells us, we got games we just didn't show. You take that game, Bleeding Edge, and you make that the showcase on that stage. You show people playing that game and why it should be fun, why we should like it. You don't show a stupid trailer and say from the studio that made a whole bunch of single-player games, here's a bunch of characters in 4-player, and people are like, oh, okay, thanks. Well, and what's amazing is that trailer leaked before E3, and people are like, that game looks like shit. Right? And Microsoft, and they're like, I gotta wait to see how they present it. All they did was had two people go out there and say, check out our trailer, and that was it. That was it. They did nothing to give that game justification. They're horrible at selling games. They're horrible at knowing their market, and that's why I do these grinds my gears, because I can't believe a company that hit it so well, even in the beginning with games of this generation, has flopped so hard and has changed a bait and switch right from under our nose. Smoke and mirrors has changed what an Xbox gaming system is. I don't care, but has changed the game.
You bastards! You vicious, heartless bastards!
And has changed the game of what a game is, and what Game Pass is, and what subscription games are. Like, they're just being like a sleazy cell phone game. The company is being like a sleazy cell phone game where it's going to loop you into some, watch this ad for 10 minutes. And we'll give you some more hearts so you can keep playing. Sign up for this subscription. Like, tie in your Facebook account to our game. And you can play more. Like this, they're so sleazy and trashy.
I don't play this game.
I don't know how you support it. And people will call them open and consumer friendly. Yeah, they're open, consumer friendly. But look, know what they've done? I said it. They divested. They liquidated. So when a company is going out of business and says bankrupt on it, right? And all the shit in the store is liquidation. They're getting rid of it all. Do you go, wow, that's a consumer friendly store? No. Microsoft lost They lost. They got their teeth kicked in. Nintendo and Sony, being traditional, dominated Xbox. That was an article today that showed that Microsoft was targeting 2 billion console sales. That was their target. 2 billion. I'm sorry, not 2 billion. Holy shit. 2 billion gamers of cell phone games. They were targeting 200 million. I'm sorry, I ran all. I was thinking Austin Powers of billions and shit. They were targeting 200 million consoles to sell at the start of the Xbox One generation. They sold just about 85 million of the Xbox 360s. They wanted to sell 200 million Xbox Ones. And the way they were going to do it was going for the casuals, going for the TV. Going for the TV. Going for the casuals. 200 million sold. And they missed. They tried. They tried with going for the grandmas and the moms and the dads and the people who say, I'm going to watch TV on my console with Kinect and motion controls and yelling at my TV. They went there, but they had the games for the gamers, so they still wanted the hardcore guy to get that into the door. Yeah. I'll get this article up here. What is this? Phil, 200 million consoles, Xbox, what they wanted to sell. Here it is. It's from GameSpot today. I'm going to share my screen. Oh, wait. Here it is. I'm going to go. It's on Windows Central. We're going to, hold on. We'll look at it, because I read some of it. What the hell? What? They took it down? Whoa, wait a second. Did Microsoft take it down? Hold the phone. Oh, wait, there it is. Forbes has it. Get over there. Damn it. Hold on. Here it is. Forbes has it. Yeah. I was like, whoa, take that shit down. No way. All right, guys. Let me know. You see this? Here it is. So, this is October 2016. Forbes, right? Microsoft originally aimed for 200 million sales of the Xbox One. In a new interview with Phil Spencer, he talks about how Microsoft had originally aimed for 200 million sales. When the new TV functionality was announced for Xbox One, many obviously confused. However, Spencer showed that clarified the reasonings. The goal the team had was to figure out how we could sell 200 million game consoles. We never seen a console sell that many units. The biggest individual console was the PS2 at 120 million. The approach the team took was moving to an over-the-top video services and television getting disrupted. If we could build a console that could be the center of this transition and really embrace not only the people playing the games, but also those with changing habits in television. Guys, how did the PS2 sell 155 million consoles worldwide? Chat. How did the PlayStation 2? There you guys are. Just put it in the comments. Like, put it in the thing. How did the PlayStation 2 sell 155 million consoles? And also tell me too, how did Sony is almost selling 100 million consoles right now? How? Great games. Games. Oh, the answer's right there. PS2 actually sold 155 million consoles, and much of it wasn't due to the DVD drive either. Actually, they answered it right here. It was down to the console's expansive and extremely varied gaming library. And look at that. Something that gaming platforms like Steam continue to provide on a basis. That's right, Akun. You guys have got it. It's because of the games. And that's all we should be talking about. We shouldn't be talking about clouds and microchips and teraflops and who they hired in the studios and a list of studios and them like getting the janitors and the guy who drew 4K horse nuts. It's about the friggin' games. It's about those people screaming for Banjo and Smash Brothers because they want to play it in a game. It's not people standing up for Keanu Reeves, who was reading a teleprompter. As cool as he may be, he didn't want to be there. That was like when they used to bring the Beatles out there for a rock band. Celebrities, yeah, great. Was that justify you as popular? No. How do you sell 200 million game consoles? The answer's in the title of the fucking thing. A game console. You make great games. We're going hard tonight, guys. We're going hard tonight. I got one more for you. I got another good one for you. See, I'm not sitting here buttering up anybody's ass or fluffing anybody's balls. I'm here showing the shit that is on the internet. These are not fanboy bullshit. Everybody has a preference. There are Xbox fanboys, there's PlayStation 4 fanboys, there's a Switch fanboys, there's Stadia fanboys. There's fanboys for everything. You go into a car show, there's Ford fanboys, there's Ford fan men. You know, you go over, there's fans for everything. And fans should be the most critical. Ask your diehard fans of a football team. You're the most critical of it. I'm a New York Giants fan. I will tell you, piece of shit. Eli Manning, thank you very much. Get the fuck out. Take your 2 rings. Thank you very much. Get out. Now, there's Eli Manning fans. My wife is an Eli Manning fan. She won't like me saying that because she's a nice guy. She doesn't talk about his football. Go listen to your sports talk radio after your local team loses. Who's calling? The other team? The Giants and the Eagles are playing each other. Are Giants fans calling up the Eagles and saying, your team sucks? No. Who's calling? The fans of the team that lost. And what are they saying? Yo, they sucked. They blew it. They got to get rid of this coach. I'm not going to the games anymore. That's what fans do. Look at Marvel fans. Look at the diehard people like yelling about the faces of the Marvel. Iron Man don't look like that. That's what fans do. Fans criticize. Yeah, that's right, Mario, man. Those trades. Shit, I don't even know what Giants season's gonna look like. That's what, and then the other thing is like they got that new quarterback that they got Mog Fly Eagles Fly. Yeah, I know. I'm right on the edge of Eagles country. I know. I get it all the time. But you know what? When they had a good team, I wasn't bleeding green. But you know what? I said let them win because I respect them. 2-14. Oh shit. Yeah. I don't know, man. I have no friggin' clue what's going on. It might be 2-14. Oh, WWE, man. Oh, yeah, I know. I don't know what's going on with that one. I tell you, the Phil Ness and the Phillies. No, but yeah, I don't. You know what? WWE. I can't wait for AEW to watch on that stuff because I think again, competition brings a lot, and Vince McMahon might not need that. You know, he might not believe it's there, but I do think that we're gonna see some more wrestlers go to AEW because now they got an out. I know he's an old senile man. Yo, if you could listen to it, I was listening to it and he took it down. Oh my god, that giraffe, the New York Giants giraffe. But yeah, like yo, that WWE man with if you listen to Moxley talking about like what Vince did, like, oh, you're the crazy man, like you're the crazy man, like you're supposed to be rabid and stuff like that, like that's you, and the guy's like, no, I know my character wouldn't do that, and he's like, no, that's you, and I attribute that just like Phil. Phil's like, no, the PC gamer and the guy that wants to play on their cell phone and the guy who wants to play on their console, that's you. No, Phil, that's not me. That's not a lot of people. I know. I swear to God, Baron Corbin needs to go. I say put Baron Corbin, Phil Spencer, Satya Nadella, and Eli Manning, put him in a bus, get him the fuck out. Done. See ya. Baron Corbin is get him out. I know. He is nuts on roids. I know. He's like, yeah, he's a good old man. He's like, yeah, that's you. I love Mannings. I think they're great. They're excellent role models. Eli is the nicest guy. He's great. But the Giants never utilized him properly after Coughlin left. The trash of coaches that they gave him, I don't even know their names anymore because they drive me crazy. I don't want to remember them. They never built the offensive line around him at all. He is a pocket quarterback. He is not a scrambler. He is a Statue of Liberty quarterback. Oh my God, yeah, Alexa Bliss. Oh yeah. I can't. When she's wrestling again, like with the concussions and stuff. I was like, that moment of bliss thing was not working. I'm going back and forth between football and wrestling, but like he's not a Statue of Liberty. You got to build a line around him. You know, as much as I hate the Patriots, Belichick knows how to call plays and to make his players shine and protect the hell out of Brady. Giants just said, Eli, do some magic. Like, just close your eyes and throw the ball, and some guy's going to do a catch off his helmet on the sidelines, and we're going to go, yay, and still lose the game. Like, you know? But, anyway. Oh, my God. Mug. You guys, man. Mug. Flowers. You know what? Wait a second. We got to back that bus up. Back that bus up that I just said, get that bus getting the fuck out. Flowers. He better be driving that bus. Get him the fuck out. Oh my God, Flowers. I was an offensive lineman and a defensive lineman. If the announcers know your name as an offensive lineman, you gone done fuck up. Like, they should not be calling your name as an offensive lineman. Announcers should not. Like, my coach would say, like, if anybody else knows your name, you're doing a badass job, because nobody should know an offensive lineman's name unless they're a Hall of Famer or they're fucking letting the defensive guy blast by him and they show your ass when your quarterback got sacked. But you should not know an offensive lineman's name as if he was a running back or a quarterback or a wide receiver. You should not. Defensive lineman, that's a different case. They should know your name because you're making plays. But offense, shit. If people are like, oh, that's Flowers again. You got you fucked up. Yes, I totally agree, Game Night. You know what? Maybe I'll do a Grinds My Gears on WWE because I watch that shit all the time. I like watching it, and, you know, I haven't been watching it recently because it's just been boring and stuff like that. I'm really interested in, you know, I watch the pay-per-views and stuff, but the Raw is just too long. NXT is amazing. I love NXT. And my favorite, and my son's favorite too, is Ricochet. You know, now that he's in the wrestling. And I just hate when they call them up to the WWE, to Raw, and they don't utilize them. EC3 is like a friggin' like catering guy. Yeah, I agree. Yeah, I know. Oh my God, that last WrestleMania, that was, oh my God, that match. You know, we're gonna take a little Grind My Gears thing. What did you guys think of the Undertaker and Goldberg match? Wasn't that horrible? That was just so... It was like old man fighting. I was so upset that I remember those guys like in their prime fighting, and that would have been amazing. But watching them fight now was just so sad. I was like, what the hell? Like, this is not fair to those guys' careers. Like, I blamed it all on Vince McMahon and the fact that he has not built up proper superstars in... Yes, you watch the reaction stuff. It should never happen. That's right. He didn't build up superstars. Yes, the Crave does suck. Please United. He didn't build up the superstars to make a big match like that worthy if they go to put on a show in Saudi Arabia, something like that. Instead, he has to pull these guys out of retirement and like almost they kill themselves trying to put on a wrestling match. Like, Goldberg's judgment's off. He's diving into friggin' posts. No. I got this good... No, I got the whole thing with video games. We're not done. I got one more thing for video games. But I got turned into Grinds My Gears of Wrestling. I'll do that. Maybe I'll do them after I watch them, because I'm like, enough of this shit. Let me know if you guys would like to watch that. I'll do some wrestling stuff. But I sidetracked. I know. A Goldberg couldn't even last like a minute or so like that. But what I'm going to do here, we're going to go... I got some gaming stuff. I got a good one here. So before I got into the whole wrestling thing and thing, but thanks chat. Thank you for doing all that stuff, guys. Like, I'll talk more about that stuff. But what I wanted to do is show this. And what I was saying before about the whole, just to come back to it, with Sony and Nintendo being a traditional console, making games to sell and being successful. Like, Nintendo is going to leapfrog Microsoft. And Microsoft is squirming, and they're basically just changing the game, going, we got to go everywhere else. We know this. They've lost. This is what the loser does. And it's sad to say it, but this is what the loser does. They try to change the game. Nintendo wasn't doing too well against the 360 and the PlayStation 3. Like, they were fighting back and forth, right? They were doing all that stuff. But Nintendo changed the game with motion controls. And they changed the game. Microsoft is trying to do the game right now with trying to just increase their install base and sell more games. Because they're not selling their services as if they should. Because the thing is, people, they got to make great games. And they are not doing it. And they're going to kick in the ass when they go, guys, we've taken our games from Xbox. We put it on Windows 10 store. We told them they need Windows 10. Right? Then, that didn't work. Now, we took our games, we put them on Windows 10, we're going to put them on Steam. Let's see if that works, because Cuphead was successful on those three platforms. Let's see if Gears is going to do it. Also, let's try to put our games on all these cell phones out there, and maybe we'll get more people to buy our games or to do that. When all those things fail, you know where they're going to go next? They already started doing it. Let's put our game on the competing platforms. The Switch is at 50 million in the future, I'm saying. The PlayStation has an install base of 150, 200 million consoles with the PlayStation 4 and PlayStation 5 together. There's your 200, there's your 300 million consoles. Microsoft turns third party and just puts all their games on the Switch, on the PlayStation, and now they're able to put their games on their goal of 2 million consoles, 200 million consoles. That's the story. And they will just stop making consoles because they will just say, guys, they are backing out. As much as people say, well, they're making new ones, and I'm still trying to find this thing. They're making consoles. They're just doing that right now. It's a pacifying because they can't just have this whole disruptive thing where they just stop making consoles. But you look at the progress of it. They tried doing exclusives. They tried this with Halo. Halo 5, did it work? No. It didn't sell that many consoles. It sold enough for MPD, but it didn't have the legs. Then what they did was like, we're going to buy exclusives. Tomb Raider. Tomb Raider is going to be a timed exclusive. That didn't do well. Probably because of Square Enix. Screw them. But on top of that, that timed exclusive didn't work. And then Phil's like, oh, well, we don't do timed exclusives anymore, right? So you could see how they've been throwing shit against the wall. And it's just not working. And after that does not work, they do something else. Gears 4 was on Windows 10 and Xbox. More people to play, right? Well, they could not find games on Windows 10, so they had to combine them with the Xbox player pool. After only 6 months. I had these videos before. Now, Gears 5, let's put it on Xbox, PC, Steam, and Windows 10. Maybe that is the winning solution. And also, we'll add it to streaming platforms so more people can play on their phones. That might be the winning solution. When they realize that people don't want to play, not as many people as they thought want to play, the 2 billion people is not working, they're going to change it again. But it's disgusting that you see them sitting there and see how they think. How can we sell 200 million consoles in 2016? And they're thinking TV, TV, TV. And now they're thinking phone, phone, phone.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
Really? Now that they're my phone. So here's a little tidbit that I'm going to leave you guys with.
That,
and I played this before.
I'm not the most important thing anymore. Okay, and so if you're running the content services on consoles, it's been awesome. It's a good business, okay? But
all right? I played this before. And I played this on a couple of other things. But this is the essence on how do you sell consoles, right? I'm going to show it. Because this is something I'm going to show right here. And shout out, like, here we go. So we said before we got onto the diversion of sports. What this guy created Xbox. What does Nintendo and Sony do to sell gaming consoles? How did Sony sell 100 million, almost 100 million consoles? Making great games. Spider-Man, God of War, Uncharted, that sold consoles, that moved units. How did Nintendo sell it and almost beat Microsoft? Zelda, Mario Brothers, the Odyssey, the universe, whatever the friend that is, Odyssey, Smash Brothers. And they still didn't even show Metroid if people got like that. They still didn't even show Metroid. And they apologized saying we're doing Metroid. Pokemon. And they got their mobile stuff going on, but they make sure you come to the console. That is the model. That's how you sell gaming consoles. Phil don't care about gaming consoles. So listen to what Phil said, that quote that I said. Our business is not selling consoles. So that means that what he's about to say right now is what all you gamers should be listening to.
But fundamentally, the reason people buy consoles is because they're gamers and they want to play awesome games and they want to feel really good about it and they want to feel like you give a shit about them. Yep. They want to feel like you give a shit about giving them good games. Okay, and so if you're running the platform, you have to look at them and say, I am going to make awesome games for you. You are the most important thing in the world to me. And instead, what Microsoft said was, thanks guys for getting this brand where it is. Now we're taking over and it's going to be about like streaming football. Right. And people were like, it felt bad. Like, what? I'm not the most important thing anymore because they are the most important.
So, what is your We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
I'm trying to use the phone!
And then there's another part in this.
They've still, since E3 sort of been trying to climb out of that hole. I saw even today, the day we're taping it, they're giving away free Behind the scenes, they were absolutely clear at all times that it was about the gamer.
Right.
They had spent so much time and so much energy walking down the road of what was coming next, and had gotten themselves so excited about what was coming next, that they forgot to then remind the world, who hadn't been part of all their meetings, that indeed it was the gamer that made sense. So I always understood the message they were trying to make. They utterly flubbed that message. And as a result, they had to step back. Right? They had to step off that message.
Because there is a... We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
They were trying to make.
So this is they're just doing it again. They just did it with TV and stuff. Now they're trying to do it with phones. What did he says right here?
So I always understood the method, who hadn't been part of all their energy, walking down the road of what was coming next.
What's coming next? Streaming.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone.
On your phone.
And had gotten themselves so excited about what was coming next.
Microsoft got themselves so excited about what's coming next that
they forgot to then remind the world, who hadn't been part of all their meetings, that indeed it was the gamer that made sense.
So this is the thing. They're not... Every time you see people on Twitter and stuff like that going, I'm done with Xbox. I can't... They are not addressing me. The gamer is the most important person when you're trying to sell a gaming console. If you don't want to sell a gaming console, then just don't do it. Like, get out. That's the whole point, guys. Were you able to hear it, though? Were you able to hear what they said? My audio was out of sync, but did you hear it, though? Let me see. Yeah, okay. So, Rise just blood pressure. So you hear how Seamus says they are the most important person. So they're the most important person. If you look, if you listen to those two dudes, right? Those two guys, Jeff Rubin, who created Naughty Dog and stuff like that. He's not there anymore. Now he does VR stuff. And Seamus Blackley does his own thing. Something like hot air. Those guys are saying it's about the gamer. It's about the games. Gamers want to feel good about their console. They want to play great games. And who's the one company that is not breaking great games? And who's focused on the...
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So
on what's next, rather than addressing the now. Because Microsoft is right now in the time machine thinking 5 and 10 years ahead with their studio acquisitions, with their games, with Game Pass. And they're thinking so far ahead that they're abandoning everybody now. And what they're not realizing is that if their vision comes true 5 years from now, there's not going to be anybody left to share that vision. Your core audience will be going to other competition. And we see it. I can't believe how much this E3 really changed a lot of people. There's not that many people really holding down the roost anymore for what Microsoft did at this E3. And that message is going to translate into Sony didn't even go there, and Microsoft didn't do well. Like, what's the news? Oh, Avengers game. Like, Microsoft couldn't even gain mindshare when they were the only show in town. They didn't explain They didn't explain xCloud clearly to compete against Stadia. Google was clearer in their message of Stadia and streaming that people already pre-ordered it. Microsoft has yet to... Well, you could stream from your home console. Like, that's not xCloud. What the fuck are you talking about? You went to E3 to tell us about remote play? That's what you said was going to be on your stage? Phil Spencer's going to go up there and go, well, we got the clouds we told you about, those blades that we showed you last year. Well, this year I'm going to come up there and say you can remote play from your console. Like, what? Already they messed the message. I think already Stadia is ahead of them. Stadia already announced games. They announced incentives. They announced how you're going to access these games. They announced the price. And they got pre-orders out there. I already think, and I don't think the streaming is something that's going to really work. I think it's good for demos and trials. But if you're looking at Google was the most important person, Google's who Microsoft cares about. It's not about Sony. It's about Google. Well, they're failing. All right. After this E3, Microsoft just got slapped up the face by Google, and Google wasn't even there. So maybe xCloud works on the floor stage, but guess what? Google already had its test for Chromebooks in the real world in October. So Google already did their friggin' test. I think so. I think they're not ready. I think Microsoft. My total review of Microsoft's thing right now is I think Microsoft got cold feet. Microsoft has this big problem. I think because they're a huge company, they get cold feet and they don't know how to talk to consumers. You just look at Build and look how Microsoft tried to talk to developers. Look at Google I/O and look the people that are screaming at the Nintendo thing. That's how the developers act at Google. They're pumped for Google. Well, Google's going crazy on my phone right now because she hears me calling her name. And I think Microsoft I don't think it's ready, and I think they're rushing it. And in addition, Microsoft is cutting off the heads of their faithful gamers because they're so confused and just timid on how to approach this streaming thing. They're not ready. Google seems focused and attentive, and this is what Microsoft does. They spread themselves so thin, like the Kraken Sea Dicks, the 5 of them, they go 5 different directions. Meanwhile, their competition stays focused. That's right, Google always listens. Competition stays focused. Sony stays focused on making great games. Sony keeps the message about the gamers, adding features to PlayStation Now to download games, which they never had before, in response to that. In response to Xbox Game Pass, Sony says now you can download PlayStation 4 games, has 700 games, has 300 PlayStation 4 games to download. Sony responds right to the gamer. They put sales on PlayStation Now at $70 right now for a year. That's cheaper than friggin' Game Pass because Game Pass is only $1 for a month. Then they're going to get you $10. It's $1 for a month. And what month is this? What are you getting this month? If you haven't played all the Xbox games, you're going to get what? There's no new Xbox games coming out. Gears comes out September. That's when you should use your Game Pass. $10 a month. So what are you paying? You're going to pay $111. PlayStation Now's, if you want to play older games, PlayStation 3 and download $70 right now. Sony does the sales. Sony goes right to the gamer. They make you get points. They got a friggin' PlayStation card where I get points to just get PlayStation points. That's what keeps me in the ecosystem. I get rewards for buying my normal stuff. Microsoft doesn't have a credit card to get points. You get points by buying the games in the store. Well, what games do you want to sell me? Well, this game got a 60. This game's not that good. I'm not buying the games. I'm not getting points. You gotta make some great games for your gaming platform. Then on top of that, you make games that are just on PC that we don't know if are coming to Xbox. This is the other thing. You try to sell a $250 Razer keyboard and mouse accessory. You add keyboard and mouse support in November. Chat, did Microsoft say anything about any keyboard and mouse support games coming to Xbox? I'll wait. You bought a $250 accessory that Microsoft said is for Xbox. A keyboard and mouse from Razer. Wireless. Yeah, you could use it on PC, but it's for Xbox. Games still need to be logged in with the controller. The devs are not using it. Some games use it, and you still have to have your controller logged in. Your controller is vibrating. This is what I mean. They're throwing shit against the wall. Keyboard and mouse support coming to Xbox. It came to Xbox already. And not one. And then they have the nerve to be on stage and announce Age of Empires for PC. Not going to Xbox. Even though it has keyboard and mouse support. And you might have bought a $250 friggin' accessory for your Xbox to use. That's not supported. Why would you waste time and energy and hype? Remember they were talking about it? They talked about it for 2 Inside Xboxes last year. Right? You know, keyboard and mouse support's coming. It's coming. It came and went. Bye-bye. Suckers.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I don't think so, sucker. I don't think so, sucker.
So that's another thing. That's what I mean. So Sony and Nintendo stay focused. Google is focused on Stadia. They dropped the price. Microsoft comes to E3 stage and just flubs. We got another console. I care about...
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone.
But I got the most powerful console with the guy with the long-ass beard. And, yeah. Exactly. Game Night says, the mission to create and develop the most attractive and powerful first-party titles has become more important than ever. That was Sony last year. Focused on the console, focused on the thing. That's how you sell your product. You don't just go up there and spam and throw shit against the wall and see if it spells a word. And that's what they're doing. That's why when they came out to E3, just like Bao said, it was the Coon 1985 said, are they holding off streaming? They're the ones that basically, I'm reading their obituary. Exactly. They're the ones that started this whole streaming conversation because of Amazon and Google, right? They did that little fancy little video clip where they have talking heads of people that they say work at Microsoft and stuff like that about this xCloud and all blades and all that stuff. But then you think they're going to add more because now Google has come out, and then basically they come on stage and go, oh, and remote play. What? That has nothing to do with xCloud. It's because they're all over the place. They stumbled. And now their xCloud, maybe it works at E3 and people playing it on the phone. Everybody's like, well, how does it work in real time? Oh, you'll find out in October. Google got prices, pre-orders, done. You got nothing. You already lost the streaming battle. They lost. It's done. I don't care what xCloud has. The problem is that they don't have a subscription model yet. They don't have those third-party games in Game Pass. Like, they don't have it. So if you sign up for Game Pass, you're not getting Assassin's Creed. And what is that going to look like? And the only thing I got out of them this year is that the free option is you just streaming from your home console. That's the free option. How much is xCloud going to cost? You know, everybody got pissed off. They're like, well, I got to pay $10 to access Google, and I'm going to pay $10, and I got to buy the games. Microsoft's going to do the same thing. xCloud's not going to be for free. So everybody's saying xCloud's amazing at E3. Well, guess what? That's going to cost you money. And are you willing to pay that money to stream only to use Microsoft's Xboxes? But there's so many questions. They didn't address them at E3. They had the public's eye. They had the stage. Phil Spencer said it's about gaming. He seemed very ambitious. He even did that during that Major Nelson podcast. Hold on. When did he do that? Where's Major Nelson's podcast? right before E3. He had the podcast with Major Nelson.
Hi, sorry, here Xbox Live's maybe 50 feet. You have, you've.
Hold on. I want to get to the part where he talks about it.
I watched the rehearsal. It's coming.
And I think in a lot of ways, while we're competitive in a lot of ways, we're also rooting for each other. Not really. You have to. There's a lot.
They don't
of
have Reggie this year.
That's your special team. You come now, and it's a really fun time to be in the purchase quantity. Actually, publish X amount of time in the show, and every year I have a couple new people that are our Xbox fans, are just so passionate about gaming, so passionate about Xbox.
Yeah.
I say love most of what we do. Yeah. Obviously, that passion what I do. I mean, right. My two. If it is Robbie, is not service that we're delivering for a customer who says, "Hey, I play my games and I love to play on PC, and that's where I want my life, and I want Microsoft to my hotel room."
Right.
I need to get you to adopt.
So he even said a little bit more about xCloud during that pre-E3 thing. And again, it seemed like it was going to be a dominant conversation, and they chose not to really talk about xCloud and just said, hey, it's on the floor, you'll try it out, and that's it. And per Engadget, it was a special network, and I said it, I had it in the video before. But the thing about it is just that they flubbed. They had the stage to themselves to talk about next generation consoles, to show games that you might want to play on those next generation consoles, get the message out there first, and talk about how they're going to do the streaming to compete against Google. And they got cold feet and didn't do it because they don't know how to talk to the consumer. They don't know how. They don't know how to sell a product. That is the biggest problem. It's not about, I'm telling you, it's not about the games. I don't even think it's about the games anymore. It's just that they don't know what the people want. They don't know how to deliver the message properly. Remember, everybody said it's going to be the messaging. It's the messaging. Microsoft just don't get this messaging. Like, they messed up at the C3 with their messaging. And that's what happened. This E3 was a huge kibosh for them. I think this put them way behind. Unless they do some sort of special kind of inside Xbox or something like that. Really, this E3, they did not deliver on anything. The games, the streaming, and the next console. I think somebody did I think it was Red Dragon did a search, and he did Project Scarlet versus Keanu Reeves, and Keanu Reeves was like 100 times more popular search than Project Scarlet. That whole Project Scarlet fell flat on its face. That whole reveal of the next console fell flat on its face. And shout out to the Iron Lords guys. Those guys were there, and they said that when they left, that place was like a morgue. Like it was like, oh, that's it? Oh, okay. It was quiet in their video. They said when after that E3, it was quiet. It was just sort of like, oh, okay. And there was a little bit of Halo. It wasn't a gameplay. It was nothing. And that's the whole thing. It's like they messed up this E3. They had and I had a feeling they were going to, because I feel like I sit back and just watch them fail, because that's what they do. They do not take opportunities. And how many times am I always on the show or something and I go, another missed opportunity. The Xbox Sad Edition. Did we see that Sad Edition mentioned at all? Or some sort of digital incentives. Or if you pick up an Xbox Sad Edition now, you get a whole bunch of digital games for free. Nothing. Nothing. Shit it out there. Shit it out there, guys. Just throw it out to the wolves. Keyboard and mouse support? Yeah, whatever. Oh, the digital. We removed the hard drive. We removed the disk drive. Yeah, whatever. Oh, it's about phones now. Yeah, it's digital, it's streaming, it's whatever. They're like a fucking drunk guy just telling random ass stories, walking around the street. Hey Phil, can we get this fucking little cartoon? Yeah, put that cartoon game on there. They'll love it. And they're losing people. They're losing people that came together because of the Xbox brand. And also too, like, oh, it's not about the plastic. It's not about the plastic. Well, I'll tell you what. All those people that went to E3, all those people that are Xbox fans, that are PlayStation, they're fans because of the plastic, okay? They came together because of that plastic. They chatted because of that plastic. They were in Xbox Live, brought them together. And they made friends, and that's great. So when it's like, oh, it's not about exclusives, not about the plastic, it's about the community, right? And Xbox has taken the core gamer that Seamus Blackley said, the most important person, the most important. I could go find the clip when Phil Spencer launched the Xbox One X, and that night, the guy said, the most important, and Phil Spencer's like, no. The player's the most important. And he has it in his crutch, just like Vince McMahon. Oh, the same guy that plays on his cell phone is the same person that plays on the PC, is the same person that plays on the console. Dude, that crowd right there that was sitting in the front with that with all those Xbox shirts and all that other stuff, they were not hearing this.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So when we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible,
those people are not there because you want them to play on a phone. It's an option, but you'd say it's your primary focus. Xbox Game Pass. You bought all those studios. I don't know why you would get excited for those studios when you know the purpose of those smaller studios. They're not buying EA. They're not buying Rockstar. They're not buying friggin' like Take-Two. They're buying guys. Did you see, guys in chat? Did you see the friggin' interview or the article with that other studio acquisition? Well, what's his name? Double Fine. He says, Microsoft just gave me a whole bunch of money. Did you see that, what he said? Tim Schafer? They just gave me a whole bunch of money. That guy left publishing under 2K. 2K owned Double Fine. Back when, or was it Double Fine was working under 2K Publishing, I thought, with the same time as Ken Levine when he was doing BioShock. With his studio, and they left their publisher to go through to they went the route of Kickstarter. Double Fine went the route of Kickstarter, and they just said we'll just do a bunch of Kickstarter projects. They made some indie games, they made some stuff. Exactly, Tim Schafer and the Kickstarter debacle. Remember that game night? Yeah. They haven't really made the game. Like, people are like, oh, they made Psychonauts. They made that for the OG Xbox. That's how long ago and irrelevant they are. Like, that's another criticism that I had of this E3. Phil Spencer said that he scoured the globe of finding games. And he finds, like, this Korean shooter Crossfire. The game came out on PC in 2007. 2007. The guy is finding he's like finding just garbage. He's finding like shit that's like, yeah. Like he's just getting hand-me-outs right now. Psychonauts was the big game of the OG Xbox, and now they're coming out Psychonauts 2, and it's coming to everything plus Linux. Guys, like, these studios that they bought are just the only one that had something good happening was Ninja Theory, had a high. And then look how they came full circle to a full low with Bleeding Edge. Like, it turned into Psychonauts. Like, Ninja Theory had all the respect in the world, winning awards for Hellblade, only to come out a year later under Microsoft's belt and going, "Oh yeah, they were making this game before we got them," to show a full-player multiplayer only game that looks like Overwatch and Jet Set Radio. From the studio that brought you all these single-player narrative games. Hellblade was made by 25 people, and now we got the other 25 people making this game. Bleeding Edge. That people like, that studio doesn't make those kind of games. They never did. Oh, they were making this before. Oh, really? And they probably canceled it going, guys, this is not our strength. Put this on the back burner. And Microsoft walked in and go, oh, we'll pay. Go continue to make that game because that'll fit perfect in Game Pass. And I said this before in my rant after the thing. How do you get a 4v4 online multiplayer game that looks like Overwatch? It's probably going to have cosmetics. That probably has 10 people. It looks like a perfect game. It looks like a perfect game for Game Pass. Did Ninja Theory know about Game Pass in 2014? Come on. Microsoft saw that game and said, oh yeah, we'll buy it. You're going to make that game. We're not done yet, guys. Wait to what the other guys are making. Wait. They're gonna try to fool you, that Phil Ness, with like, oh, the Outer Worlds. Oh, we got the Outer Worlds coming. It's like, dude, that wasn't. They made that game before you. That game was coming out everywhere before you even did anything. You know? Oh, Psychonauts 2. Yeah. What? Like, wait till Microsoft gets a hold of what these studios are making, and we'll see what they are. And I'm telling you right now, these games will not be Zeldas, Gears, Halos, Uncharted, God of War. Microsoft will not. These studios are not. First of all, they're small little studios. They could keep hiring 100, 200 people. These studios will not make that kind of game as long as Microsoft's targeting Game Pass and trying to have games come out every 2 to 3 years. You're not going to get a big game like that. And Double Fine, like when he was on stage and he said that thing, Shave was like, I'll make anything. Give me Halo. It's like a drunk guy. They make little rinky-dink games. Game Pass games. This is what it's all about. Phil said it's a Game Pass and cell phones. They have turned into the Apple iTunes store, the Google Play store. You see all those disposable games in Google Play? You game under the game section? That's what Microsoft's going to do. The stacking trophy. Yeah, they made the stacking game. Yeah, exactly. But they dropped the ball this E3. They dropped the whole entire ball. They failed on the games front. They failed showing the big games that they still cling on to, Halo and Gears. They still never told people why they should give a shit about those games and try to reinvigorate them. Like, they need a rebranding or a redo of those games. Because the interest of Gears and Halo, I think, have really dropped. But you got Gears. It did not deliver on Gears and Halo. They didn't deliver on the message of streaming. They didn't deliver the message of the next generation console. Guys, they announced next generation holiday 2020. And nobody's saying shit. Because they focused on everything but... Like, if they talked about those things and showed a lot of great games and things that got people excited, I think that would be good. But since they relied on those big messages and dropped the ball in those messages, they are forgettable. It's about Nintendo. It's about a DLC character in a Smash Brothers game. Think about that. A DLC character in a game that's just about a year old. Meanwhile, Sony announced the Death Stranding release date, and they're sitting on Iron Man VR, a Predator game that they just announced. Like, they did more announcements in those state of plays of new games than Microsoft did, and new games that are interesting, at least to me. Iron Man VR, it might be shit, but yo, it got my attention. Bambi in the woods? No. I can't. They announced 60 games. Shit. I know Bleeding Edge, Halo Gears, Forza DLC, like State of Decay. I know DLCs. That's sizzle reel. I can't even talk about half those indie games. I know more games at the Google Stadia event, like that game with the girl that was haunted in the friggin' Made by Tequila Works, that she's in the haunted school. That looked friggin' awesome on Stadia. Baldur's Gate is a popular game, but I don't really know. Phil Spencer was in the crowd, announced Crossfire X. People are like, what the fuck is that game? Oh, it's the biggest multiplayer shooter in Korea. You're in America. What? It came out in 2007. 12 Minutes look good. That's right. 12 Minutes look good, and Blair Witch look good. Yes, you're right. Blair Witch. I think Blair Witch is exclusive. Thank you for reminding me those two. Because those two, yes, I would say those two. Because it wasn't total botch. But yes. Those necklaces in Japan. But he scoured the world and came back with Crossfire X. And then he shows a trailer. Yeah, Ori. I can't believe Ori's coming out next year, though. Like, dude, like, what the fuck? Ori, does it have online? Does it have something? If it's just a platformer game, like, what the hell? Ori's been announced for 2 years. That's crazy. That size, I don't understand. That game should not. I don't think a game of that kind of level. Like, Ori was a great game, but I don't think it should be like that long of an announcement. Yeah, it was only like 2 years ago. I don't know what's taking it so long. Does it have like online multiplayer? You want to know what it is, guys? Alish and Bows. You know what? And I think the same thing happened to the State of Decay devs, and the same thing happened to the Sea of Thieves devs. With Microsoft's focus in making their games on all these platforms, I bet you it just added development time. Because Microsoft's like, hey, Ori, we're going to have you on Steam day one. Now they got to start making it for Steam day one and take it out of UWP for Windows 10 Store. I bet you Microsoft changing how many platforms. Oh, Ori, we want you to be streaming. And I bet you Microsoft is messing with the development cycles of these games because they keep trying to add it to more platforms before they release. I'm wondering if that's the reason, because there's no reason why Ori takes that long. I don't understand it. Their dev time is twice as long. Like, it's so long. Like I said before, like, I think it has to do with their shifting focus of what platforms. Like, that's why when you look at like Kojima's game, he came out and had to focus on building it for a PlayStation. That's it. Sony wasn't like, well, Kojima, we want Death Stranding on PlayStation, on PC, on PlayStation Now, on the Vita. We want it on our special PlayStation Store on computers. No, the guy had to make a game for one console. Where Microsoft is like, guys, we want that game to work on, Anacondas, this, like 5 different pieces of hardware, all variations of PC. That's multi-platform development. And that's what Microsoft forces its devs to do. Maybe that's why it's taking so long for Ori. I don't know. But I just think it's kind of weird. Like, Ori is a great game, but Ori is not Gears of War. Ori is not Halo. Ori is not Zelda. Okay? Ori is a nice game. It's nice. It's a cool game. It's like Cuphead. It's cool. It's nice. But it's not... it's not Blockbuster. Okay? It's not that. They're nice. You know? Yeah, if you want to call them a system seller, you want to call it something like that. Yeah, it's not that. Like, it's neat. It's okay. Yeah, it's nice. It's a great game. It's good. but it's not Gears 4, Gears 5. It's not that. So I don't know why it's over 2 years. No, they didn't show Cuphead DLC either. What takes that? I know that's hand-drawn stuff, but yeah, the Cuphead DLC. I thought they would definitely do it because it would be a way for them to announce the DLC for the Switch and for that. Yeah, Cuphead DLC. Nope. Which they announced Cuphead DLC last year, and it still didn't come out this year. Their development stuff is all over the place. Like, it's and there's a bunch of other games that they announced last year that didn't even show. Like, I can't remember half of them because they're not. There's some other games too. Like, I forgot what they're called. I don't know. Like, it just. Oh, they ruined Battletoads. My God, they ruined that friggin' game. Nintendo gets a better banjo, and we get friggin' I called them ectoplasm Battletoads. It looked like somebody spilled ectoplasm on them. Like, it looks like a horrible spin-off of a TV show, like a cartoon. Like, hey, we're gonna be all like crazy. Like, I'm like, what the hell is that? That's not Battletoads. The arcade version looked more realistic than that. Horrible. Yeah, the artwork belongs on the Trapper Keeper, exactly. It was like fucking Nuclear Wasteland. And I watched it being played. I'm like, it looks, it's like worse. It's like, it looks horrible. Those horrible colors and stuff. Like, I think they tried to go the route of Castle Crashers, I guess. I don't know. But Castle Crashers look so much better. Even when they showed just the Toads by themselves, I'm like, this looks hard. This looks like a Flash game. This looks like something where I just open up my browser and like I just click in the space bar going punch, 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 like in a Flash game. Yeah, no fighting game. I'm telling you, man. There's tons of things. They had nothing on that stage. I don't even know how the hell they feel. I'm still trying to review the press conference to see what the hell they did. And now people will say like, well, at least they had one, and Sony didn't. But Microsoft didn't do themselves any favors by having one. That's the thing. Like, I think it's more of Microsoft's loss than Sony's loss. Like, Sony basically gave them the open net, and they shot wide. Way wide. Because they didn't hit. I don't think they hit on anything. The streaming, the next-gen console, Killer Instinct. There's tons of games you could say. Their biggest announcement of E3 was Banjo on the Switch. And I didn't think that was I knew it was gonna happen. I was like, yo, this is gonna happen. Because this is the Microsoft that it is. And to Phil Spencer, that is a huge win. Him seeing all those Nintendo fans like that Phil Spencer, it's a great E3. Now, as an Xbox fan, is it a great E3 for you? Because according to Phil Spencer, when he saw those people like that, he was like, yes. That's a great E3 for us. He's like, yeah. More people to experience Banjo. Like, that's a win for Phil Spencer. That's why when people go, Phil Spencer said this, Phil Spencer did this. Phil Spencer's he's on a different planet, man. What he thinks is good for us is probably worse. It's the opposite. We're like kids in a candy store, and he's like the mom saying, the vegetables it's a great dinner tonight, kids. And we're like, no, we want candy. It's like, no, tonight's an amazing dinner. You're going to love it. And you go up there and it's fucking Brussels sprouts. He's on a different level. Like, this is a great dinner. This is a great E3, you'll say. Why, Phil? Oh, we got to show xCloud off, and we announced Banjo for the Switch. I was like, what? Your Xbox fans are upset. Why? Why are they upset? More people to play the games, and they could stream from their console for free. Why are they upset? You didn't show any games. We showed 60 games. What are you talking about? But you didn't show any games that they like. We showed Halo. Everybody liked that. They're excited. Halo's coming with the launch of... Did I tell you that it's launching with Project Scarlet? But Phil, they're like, but the game is going to be played everywhere. Like, it really is not really a launch title because They could play it on their old Xboxes and on PC and on. No, but it's more people to play the game, right? And I showed Gears of War, but they didn't see enough of Gears of War. Oh no, I showed them the esports team. Esports is big with Gears of War. That's gonna be huge. They don't care about the esports. What do you mean? There's tons of people watch esports. They watch Mixer, but Phil, they don't. That's not what they want. Like, what do you mean that's not what they wanted? That's what they tell me on Twitter. They want more games and they want more people to play their games. So why are they upset? Like that's how these interviews go. Yeah, broccoli and cauliflower instead of cake and ice cream. Happy birthday. Yeah, He's on a different level. It's like talking to Vince McMahon. Yeah, right? That's it, man. Like, and even Forza Lego, like, it seems cool, but, like, if you think about it, they spent so much time in the details of those cars, like the detail of the car and all that other stuff, just to make it Legos. I don't know. It just seems weird. Like, I would say change the world, not the cars. Like the Hot Wheels thing I think was cool, because at least it changed the mechanism of the game, like loop-to-loops and loop and all that other stuff and jumps and stuff like that. With the Legos, it just kind of, like, I don't know. You take this high-fidelity car and you just turn it into a Lego. It's like, I played that game before. It's like tons of the Lego games. But it did look cool, though, in the first person. I did say, I think Tim Dog was playing it in first person. And it did look cool seeing the Lego bricks, like, in the bottom on your hood. So I will say that. Like, that looked pretty cool. But it is kind of weird, though. Like, you'll take this high-fidelity car model and just put Legos. I don't get blocked. I'm going to block by him. Yeah, he unfollows people if they don't agree with him, which I thought was kind of weird. Especially he has in the thing when we all play, we all win, or whatever the hell that is. But he's just on a different level. He's out of touch. And if you want to hear that, go listen to Moxley. Go listen to Dean Ambrose talking about Vince McMahon and how Vince McMahon talked to him and said, "No, you're bad. You're crazy." He's like, "No, that's not me. That's not what sells. Oh, no, you'll just you'll get vaccination rabies shots and because the people smell and you'll tell them that." It's like, no, Vince, that's corny. No, that's what you are. And that's how Phil treats the Xbox gamers. Oh, you're the same guy that plays on a cell phone. Yeah, that's right. I'm going to put my game there. Like, no, Phil, that's not what we do, Phil. Gears Pop. Pre-order Gears Pop. Pre-order Gears Pop. Gears Pop. They opened the friggin' stage with smoke to show WWE superstars sitting in front of consoles and not playing. Back to you, Phil. It's like, what? Shit, man. They're like, and now we're going to show you Gears 5. Nonetheless, they didn't even show gameplay trailer. They showed a CGI trailer for a gameplay mode.
Ain't nobody got time for that. Ain't nobody got time for that.
You bastards! You vicious, heartless bastards!
That's what they showed. Total, man. Just, ugh. But anyway. Yeah, Gears, another game. Like, that game really needed a 1-year announcement. I like my own video. I'll share my video. We'll share it out. Like the video, guys. Thank you so much. I want to tweet out my little video there if people come in. But, yeah, just to wrapping this thing up. But, my God, I didn't realize I've been going this long, man. It's just cool chatting with everybody in the chat. Like, it's just fun. You know. It's just, it's fun times. Like, you know, I just think, you know, when it's about the games, it's fun. And, you know, it just seems that everybody else is about the games and Microsoft's not. And I just get that message out there because there's too many excuses going around. And we should not be giving the richest company in the world excuses for not giving us what we want. Example, Super Mario Brothers Maker. You could play with randoms. in their little Nintendo Direct that they have a Super Mario Maker. Those people went livid. They said no. No. And Nintendo now is fixing the Mario Maker 2 multiplayer to play with your friends, which it should have been from day one. Before the game even came out. They didn't wait. They went right at it. Nintendo fans said, no, we won't have that bullshit. So, speak up. If you don't like it, that's why I do this thing. Because I don't like the direction that they're going. I'm disappointed. And I think that just shows that they don't know who their audience is. And they had an opportunity here and added to the list of missed opportunities. Couple of okay games, but they didn't do what they needed to do to gain the respect and gain the mind share back for the game player. And they're focusing on a market that doesn't know what an Xbox is, that don't even give a shit about Xbox or Microsoft for that matter. And they think that these people care. Those people don't care. The people that care are right in front of you, right under your nose. And you're losing them day by day by day. By saying stupid things about, I don't care about how many consoles I sell. By saying stupid things about everybody wants to play your games. PC gets an exclusive. Phones get this. Nintendo gets our shit. Nintendo has Minecraft and added Mario Brothers to Minecraft. Added Master Chief to Minecraft. Meanwhile, the Xbox Minecraft doesn't have any Mario players at all. No, they don't have that whole Magic Kingdom, like the Mushroom Kingdom at all. They just gave Banjo to Smash Bros. You think Xbox is getting anything from Microsoft, from Nintendo? Anything? Yeah. Thanks, Nintendo. Thanks, Microsoft. Thanks for putting Banjo in our game to make us sell even fucking 20,000 more units. I wouldn't be surprised if they do a Banjo amiibo in the fall. I wouldn't be surprised if an amiibo for Banjo is coming in the fall. Mark my words. Thanks, Microsoft. Thanks, Phil. You just made sure that you're going to get destroyed when that character comes out because Smash Brothers will probably be on sale. Who knows? Nintendo only put their shit on sale. They'll probably have a bundle maybe. Who knows? But I'm sure that does help their competition. Sony, we beat you in xCloud. We got blades that are better than your blades. Sony's like, hey, can we borrow some of your blades? Sure, here's a Zor, Sony. Thanks, Microsoft. Thanks, Phil. You just guarantee that our infrastructure now with our 700 games and our lineup of exclusives is going to destroy you. Thanks, Phil. It's not about competing, guys, Phil says. Then get out of the console business because you are not competing. And what I always say, you guys think I was going to leave this podcast without doing my thing?
Not playing to win is like sleeping with your sister. Sure, she's a great piece of tail with a blouse full of goodies, but it's just illegal.
Not playing to win. That's what they are. Not playing to win. And that's what happens. You lose. Everybody else will just dominate you. And and what I'm saying is that, the next couple of chances that they're going to do, eventually it will probably be, if Sony is permeating the console market to 150 million with PlayStation 5 sells as much as PlayStation 4, they bring that group over. Nintendo Switch keeps selling. Then they do a Pro Switch that sells. And Microsoft just sits there maybe with 15 million Xbox Scarlett sell, 20 million. Added onto their 40 million Xbox Ones maybe. They'll just put their games on all the consoles and call it a day. And there's their 200 million console goal. And that's it. They're just not competing anymore. And they want to put their games everywhere. So go ahead, do it. But you want to know what? In your exploration of putting your games everywhere and reaching 2 billion people and your cell phone people,
we're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So
Stop making phone games. Stop doing indie reels. Make games that people want to play. And then we'll worry about where we could play them. But first, you got to create the demand for the game. You can't just put Game Pass fodder out there, two or three bullshit games every year, every month or so from your studios. Here's a little multiplayer shooter. Here's a card game. Here's a top-down shooter. Here's a point-and-click game. And expect people to be like, oh my God, I got to play that on my phone. I'm so addicted. You got to make games that people want to play. So make better games, and then the services will follow. But don't launch the services and then just throw bullshit content in there. And the last point I'll just leave here in reflection of this whole thing is Netflix realized that. HBO realized that. If you want to compare Game Pass to Netflix realized that. Netflix realized just by recycling old-ass movies in a streaming platform was not successful. Netflix streaming came successful when they started putting their own content in there. Same thing with HBO. HBO realized, people are just watching movies that came out months ago. We need to get more subscribers. So they start making their own content. Own bot office. Like HBO did the same thing. Let's do Sopranos. Starts The Sopranos. Then Showtime did Dexter. Starz started doing its shows like Spartacus. And now Power, which I can't wait. I think August. Power is freaking incredible. But that's what it is. These distributors found out you gotta make unique content and quality content to have the audience come to you. And when Microsoft realized this, that's why I think they're investing in these studios. But these studios have to come out with quality content. And maybe they're on the smaller side. They don't have to be big blockbusters all the time. There needs to be a balance. But I don't know. I see what Microsoft did with Rare. See what they did with Silicon Knights, which the free game they're giving you is Too Human, the one that was in legal battle with Silicon Knights that made such an amazing Eternal Darkness, ambitious horror game for the GameCube. Microsoft bought them, had their guy, what's his name? I forgot his name. The developer for Silicon Knights, who made Eternal Darkness, which would, as intensity would increase, it would mess up your TV and stuff and make it look like that you would go psycho. And your TV would like pretend that it went to a different input and stuff like that. Like, it was awesome as your sanity went up. Or your sanity went down because you were getting scared in the game. Eternal Darkness. And a creative, ambitious game for the GameCube. They went to Microsoft and Microsoft said, we want you to make a trilogy called Too Human. Took forever. Game flopped. Legal battle. Got killed with Unreal that he used the engine when he wasn't allowed to. Destroy the game. Silicon Knights, I don't know what happened. I think Microsoft got rid of them. And then look what they did with Rare. So, I'm just not confident Microsoft knows how to run their studios. And they don't. The biggest thing is that they don't know what their fans want. And it's obvious. So how do you know that the studios, which they say that they're not gonna tell them what to make, the studios are just gonna make whatever they want, which, and that's right. I think Game Night says the best, and we'll end it on that. Microsoft thinks balance means Halo, Gears, and Forza, and everything else is a Game Pass game. And that's it. And that's exactly what it is. I think Halo, Gears, Forza, and maybe Fable will be the 4 tentpole games that were still the same games in the 360 era. Nothing's changed. And everything else will be Game Pass. That's it. But, it's been a pleasure, guys. Thank you so much. Share the video out. If you're new here, subscribe. I love just chatting with you guys and just, in the chat, doing my soundboard, doing some stuff.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
And we'll end you with the closing edits. Oh, till 12 a.m. Yes, I will, Vog. I will watch Grounded. And I'll leave you with the ending credits. This is audio captured from the end of Microsoft's E3 2019 press conference. The credits rolled. Here they go. Good night, everybody. Phil Spencer here. Games Phones.
We're really focusing first on what it means to play these games on your phone. So we thought about how can we get as many people playing on a phone as possible.
I'm trying to use the phone!
Thanks, guys. I'm out. Thank you very much. I'll talk to you guys soon. Again, share it out. Love you guys. Grinders, I'm out.